Ted Darling Memorial Press Box. I am proud to be next to my broadcast partner of 14 seasons now, the head coach of Canisius College, head coach of Team Canada, my buddy and your postal delivery man, Randy Mearns.
I don't deliver the mail. What's up with the mail thing? But I like it, though.
I'm saying you're delivering the information.
That's what that is.
Delivering the information.
I got to tell you,
Deliver the mail tonight,
Here's what I'm going to deliver. You got the team coming out. They're not even waiting for the individual metrics coming in. They're just coming out as a team. They know they got to bring a team effort here tonight. The key back center here, Johnny.
Pointing the finger at a particular offensive player to lead this club tonight, who would it be? And am I speaking about number 92, Dane Smith?
Well, you know what? Dane Smith's always going to be a guy that you're going to lean on. But, I don't think that you got to just, always just put it on Dane. He's going to have to play his game. But, Benesha's got to have a great game. Darryl Veltman's got to have a great game. The transition guys and the Snoo and Wild and Jones, they got to get up the floor. That defensive core, they got to play solid. They got to trust each other. And you're going to have Anthony Cosmo going to get the start again tonight. He's got to come out. He's got to come out with some fire. He's got to cover those angles. He's got to make the stops that he needs to make.
The Georgia Swarm loaded with a lot of firepower, led by Rookie of the Year, Randy Stotts last year. And also, you can't pick a better player in terms of playmaking, and that's Shane Jackson. I'll tell you what, the list goes on, Randy. Well, the defense for Buffalo is going to be full tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, they're top five or, almost top five in the league. I mean, you look at the lefties, you got Shane Jackson and Jerome Thompson, and then you got Miles and Lyle, and then you all of a sudden put in Randy Stats on that right-hand side. I can't even imagine every offensive shift. Here comes the same five guys. Add in 6'5" Kyle Matisse on the right-hand side. He throws in a whole nother metric that the Buffalo Bandit defense has to contend with. And, Eddie Como's got a great offense. But here's the other thing. And guys like Noble and Radigan, these guys can get up and down the floor with the best of them, Johnny.
They've made some good moves in the offseason, pulling in free agent Mike Poulin from Calgary. Also, Jordan Hall joining the club. And John Radigan was a surprise from New England, so they shore things up defensively.
Absolutely. And think about Jordan McIntosh, the captain. We're not even talking about him yet.
Moment of silence here at KeyBank Center tonight in loving memory of Pete Regnar, who passed away on January 2nd, former Buffalo Bandit.
Thank you.
So the moment of silence, and then we're going to go down to the floor right now. So everybody is standing, removing their hats, and let's go to the floor with South Buffalo's own Kevin Kennedy with the singing of the Canadian and U.S. national anthems.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
South Buffalo's own Kevin Kennedy with the singing of the Canadian and U.S. national anthems. Hi again, everybody. John Gertler, Randy Mearns, high atop the Ted Darling Memorial Press Box tonight from the KeyBank Center in downtown Buffalo. The Bandits surrounding the starting goaltender tonight for Buffalo will be Anthony Cosmo, 17 years in the National Lacrosse League. His 6th year with the Bandits, .727 save percentage. Made 24 saves before getting pulled last on December 30th in the 12-8 loss to Colorado. He is 118 saves away from the all-time mark for the Bandits, held by general manager Steve Dietrich. There's a lot of saves, 2,748.
Yeah, that's a lot of saves.
That's a lot of rubber. Mike Poulin, the free agent from Calgary, between the pipes for Georgia, .875 save percentage, a 1-0 record in his 10th season. Oh, he came in and did a stellar job. Not that Brody McDonald did anything wrong in the game. The club just went down 7-4, so Ed Cuomo thought it would be a good idea to put Poulin in, and he only allowed 3 goals after that in their 18-10 crusher of the Saskatchewan Rush.
Well, on the Wednesday broadcast interview with Eddie Como that we were online, you know, it was one of those things where you're just like, well, do I make that move? You know what? He decided to make that. You know what? All of a sudden it changed the game. Poulin making saves, and then the Swarm were able to get on that 10-1 run.
Nick Weiss out of the lineup tonight with the pulled groin, so the draw chores will be by committee for Buffalo. They led the league going into this evening's contest in the NLL at 62% effective rate. Buffalo with the ball immediately in front of Poulin, who is pushed into the net and off the moorings. So the Buffalo Bandits will reset, and here come the Georgia Swarm. Led by Randy Stotts, the rookie of the year last year. The ball goes down into the Buffalo corner. Left wing is Kyle Matisse, leaving it down into the far corner. Shane Jackson is a great goal scorer. And speaking about the goal scorers, Randy Stotts let a shot go. Shoulder saved by Anthony Cosmo, and the ball picked up by the new Bandit, Brad Self, pushing it back out to midfield. Great to have you with us tonight in quarter number 1. Buffalo Bandits and Georgia Swarm from the KeyBank Center. There is no score. Buffalo with the ball down into the Georgia zone. Right wing pass over to Mitch Jones, feeding it back over to Ryan Badess with a shot. Kick save by Poulin. Rebound deep into the corner of Anthony Malcolm. In his first game of the 2017 season, here's Dane Smith shooting. And Poulin making the save. The rebound comes back out in front. Quickly scooped up by Georgia. And that is off the stick of the rookie, Leo Storas. No score here in the first quarter of play. Here come the Swarm. In over the Buffalo line. Led over the line by Lyle Thompson. He scores. Oh, how about that one? A rush by Lyle Thompson. Had 8 points last week in their victory over the Rush. 60 points last year, and Thompson on the board with the Georgia Swarm.
Yeah, just unsettled. The Bandits overplay. Thompson just gets down that sidewall. They try to push him down. Nobody comes to him, and he just goes sidearm to the far side on Cosmo. And just like that, 1-0 for the Swarm.
Chris Williams is the crew chief tonight in this game. Sean Greiner, Matt Columbi, the assistant referees. Robert Gross is the shot clock operator here from the KeyBank Center. 1-0 Georgia. Loose ball. Brian Cole, another rookie on this roster, pushing it back over to the Buffalo restraining line. A left wing pass over to Jordan McIntosh. Started the season on IR, but was managed to get in on the game last week. Here's McIntosh feed, and a shot right in front as he made a nice pass over to Randy Stotts. Buffalo's defense coming up with the ball. It's Brad Self, who scored last week, and leaves it off for Buffalo's forwards as the front door change is complete. But however, looks like a technical foul on Buffalo's Darryl Veltman, who was not in the lineup on December 30th. The proud papa, new baby. Kyle Matisse working the ball from the left wing side, dumping it down in front, leaving it from the far corner. Pushing it now over to Lyle Thompson. Here's Matisse from the left point. Deking his way in. Good Buffalo crushing defense. Matisse having coming out the restraining line will go to the far side. 4 seconds left on the shot clock. Buffalo intercepts up the ball, and here come the Bandits. Good play by Andrew Watt, and Buffalo making the change. 1-0 Georgia here in the first quarter of play. Great crowd on hand here at the KeyBank Center. Mitch Jones with the ball from the top of the slot, filing it back over to the far side. Anthony Malcolm with a shot to the right side of Mike Poulin. And the bouncing ball comes back out at midfield. A quick change again. More technical fouls on Buffalo here in the early goings of this game. 12:01 remaining. 1-0 Georgia. Lyle Thompson, the goal scorer. Georgia down into the Buffalo zone. Twirling around, shooting it to the right side. Rebound is picked up by Kyle Matisse. Plenty of time left on the shot clock, so Georgia will set up the play. Now to the left side to Randy Stotts running in, taking the shot. Kick save by Cosmo. And the rebound picked up by the Bandits captain Billy D. Smith, who will push the ball to his own restraining line to an awaiting Dane Smith. A goal and 3 assists for Smith last week.
Let's go Bandits.
The MVP of the National Lacrosse League last year for his 137-point performance. Smith is with the ball. 9.9 seconds left on the shot clock. Tried to feed it over to Ryan Benesh. Backed up now as Anthony Malcolm, and it's pushed back out by Georgia. 1-0 Swarm. Shots on goal 4-2 favoring the Swarm. A quick change by Eddie Cuomo's crew. Sean Ferris, the assistant coach, and Dan Ladiseur in his first year with Georgia. Shooting from the left side is Miles Thompson, hitting the end boards, picked up by Georgia, resetting the shot clock. They must have got a piece of it on the Buffalo net. From the far side, a shot saved by Cosmo. Shot clock is reset. Scrambles over the ball, finds Mitch DeSnoo coming up with it. He's double teamed onto the play. And Miles Thompson comes up with the ball, scoots to the far side. They've got a 1-0 lead here in the first quarter of play. Firing it back down to the far corner. As the front door is changed up a little bit. Lyle Thompson from the left point, shooting at shoulder save. Cosmo rebound picked up by Alexander Quito Hill, and he'll push it back out to midfield. 1-0 Georgia. Quito Hill back over to Mitch Jones, shooting at Poulin with the scissor save. And out of the webbing of his stick makes the outlet pass, and here come the Swarm in their quick transition. Carried off by the rookie Brian Cole, leaving it off to the forwards. Top of the slot, Randy Stotts is there. Comes in from the left side, shooting it, kick save by Cosmo. Rebound along the far boards. Scooping the ball to the far side. Off the stick of Jerome Thompson. Filed back out before the over and back charge. On the reset of the shot clock, Kyle Matisse has got a lane open, leaves it to Stotts. He scores! Shoulder side of Anthony Cosmo, and Georgia takes a 2-0 lead here in quarter number 1.
Yeah, that's a great two-man game off the loose ball on the near boards. Matisse coming and giving a nice high over the top, and Stotts just slips it. Matisse, quick little feed. Stotts all alone, just goes high to high on Cosmo. And just like that, 2-0 Swarm advantage.
8-3 in shots favoring Georgia with the 2-0 lead here in the first quarter of play. Randy Stotts last year, Rookie of the Year for his 95-point performance, 36 goals, 59 assists. And we're going to have a stoppage in play here on a penalty coming up against Buffalo. So when we come back, Buffalo will be short-handed. 2-0 Georgia. This is Bandits Lacrosse.
Whether you're cutting
pregame sponsor tonight here from the KeyBank Center, UBMD Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Fans, don't forget to stop by the Sabre stores powered by Reebok or any of the merchandise stands if you're listening to the game tonight here at the arena. For all of the latest Bandits apparel and merchandise, the Sabre store is open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and during all of the Sabres and Bandits home games. John Gertler, Randy Mearns with you this evening. Scott Fleetwood is our director. And Joe DiBiase is our producer tonight on the radio. Randy, what do we have penalty-wise? And it looks like it's a big one.
Yeah, it's a big one, definitely. Mitch Weil going to serve 5 minutes, a major for high stick. The Swarm going to go on their first power play of the evening. And an out-of-town scoreboard. Toronto up 5-1 on Saskatchewan, 12:03 left in the second.
So according to the NLL stats this week, Georgia scored 6 power play goals on 10 opportunities last week in their 18-10 pounding of Saskatchewan. And speaking of goals, another one scored by Georgia, and they take a 3-0 lead with a major penalty on the board. So they'll get another chance at it with a man up.
Yeah, that one's going to come from Randy's stats. The Swarm go with a 3 righty, 2 lefty matrix. The righties just circle, 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 circle. And sooner or later, you're going to create a little bit of a seam. And Stats takes a good feed. He goes short side on Cosmo. First power play marker for the Swarm. They're up 3.
I had mentioned about going 6 for 10 last week, 60%. The Bandits penalty kill at 40%. They were the #1 team last year in penalty kill in the NLL, but they allowed 3 power play goals on December 30th against Colorado. 3-0 Georgia, and with the ball shorthanded is Dane Smith. Randy, you and I talked in the pregame show about Smith's duties on defense. Just a yeoman's effort, I thought, by reviewing the game against Colorado. Big Dane Smith down there doing a job defensively as well.
Oh, absolutely. You know, he's a two-way player. I mean, you're always counting on him on the offensive side of the ball, but he's so big, he's so strong, he's so fast. Called upon, he can play some pretty phenomenal defense as well, Johnny.
Kyle Matisse sets up the play for the Georgia Swarm down into the Bandit zone. Broadcast left for those of you listening on the radio dial. Here in the first quarter of play, Georgia with a 3-0 lead, and they're working with the man advantage again because of a major penalty. What a pass there and a shot by Matisse. He's able to get his own rebound, and the clock reset. Shoulder save again by Cosmo. A little slow in getting up. Georgia gets the rebound and has got it again down into the Bandit zone. Leading it 3-0. 3:40 left in the major call to Mitch Weil. From the side, blocked off Matthew Bennett. It bounces back to the Buffalo restraining line, and it is retained by Georgia again. So they'll set up their play with the man up, but an errant pass goes into the Buffalo bench, and it'll forward Buffalo with the ball and getting it out of their own zone. And Randy take precious time off that major penalty to Mitch Weil.
Yeah, you want to take 30 off this major penalty. You want to try to continue to stay in this game. The Band is down by 3. Nothing seems to be going their way. You know, they just got to try to kill this and then try to create some momentum off of a great kill here, Johnny.
10 seconds left on the shot clock. Mitch Jones with it from the slot area. Triple teamed on the play. Lost his stick and the ball. It's fielded by Poulin and cleared back out to midfield. Georgia leading it 3-0 and still working with the man up on that major call to Mitch Weil. In 6 for 10 on the power play statistically from the NLL stats. Originally the game sheet said 5, but give them 6 anyway, and they're working that ball very nicely down to the Bandit zone. A shoulder save by Cosmo. Georgia getting the rebound, resetting the shot clock, and stabilizing down into Buffalo territory. Shot off the side of Cosmo. Again, reset of the shot clock with the man advantage, top of the slot. Far side. There's a shot. Score! Georgia 4-0.
Yeah, it happens that quick. I mean, what phenomenal offensive talent. You know, that first power play, they did a double seal. They rotated 2 guys up, filtered all the way around. This time about, they just rotate to the right-hand side. Jordan Hall just steps in. Nobody slides to him, and he just goes dipsy doodle over the top of Cosmo. And the veteran Hall scores his first of the night, and they're up by 4.
6 assists last week for Jordan Hall. A great acquisition. 9th year overall. 2-time All-Pro Jordan Hall getting his first of the year, and a 4-0 lead for Georgia here in the first quarter of play. In over the line, Georgia again with a shot. Save, Cosmo, and he took that one hard and slow getting up. Looks like he took it on the kneecap when his pads were bending down, and Cosmo still on one knee, and the referees have called the play with 6:19 remaining here in the first quarter. And Buffalo's trainer out now attending to Anthony Cosmo. 4-0. Shots on goal, 16-3.
Yeah,
favoring the Swarm.
That shot had some steam on it. Kind of caught Cosmo off guard from a little bit further out. And I think it took it off that right knee as the pad went down.
If you're just joining us, lineup changes tonight for the Buffalo Bandits. Craig Point is not dressed this evening, nor is Nick Weiss. Weiss is on injured reserve, second level. How the groin injury. In this evening for the first time this year, Anthony Malcolm. And also Darryl Veltman. And we're going to have a goaltending change right now.
Yeah, Cosmo's doing the limp all the way off. Looks like he got one off that right kneecap. DeRosio's going to slide in and provide some relief. Let's see how Cosmo will keep an eye as he's over the bench getting tended by the trainers.
So DeRosio comes in with a .850 save percentage. Very respectable. Came into relief December 30th for Anthony Cosmo, making 17 saves. 5-3 last year in his 8 games in performance. In his third year, the big fish at 6'3", 300 pounds. And hang on, another penalty coming up against Buffalo to their dismay.
Yeah, and Billy D. Smith is not happy. He had some choice words for the referee. Poulin tries to hit a flying Jordan McIntosh up the floor. It looks like Buffalo, that third official, he's right on the scene. Buffalo out the back door a little bit too early. And the Swarm going to go back up on the power play. And Cordingly on the bench is not happy. He's letting the refs have it.
Well, it's one of the things with the third referee back out on the floor during the regular season. One of the criteria they'll be looking at is the change-up that the players are allowed to do within the small confines they have in front of the bench. And once they go over that line, it's too many men on the field. And the third referee with the focus, particularly the referee over by the bench side, will be taking a look at that change. And they caught Buffalo in another penalty against the Bandits. And here come the Swarm with the man advantage down into the Bandits zone. Top of the slot is Randy Stotts over the feed to Lyle Thompson. Down to the corner to Matisse. It's intercepted by Buffalo. And Steve Priolo making the cost turnover, getting a nice feed, shorthanded. Feed pass out in front. Shot by Brunel. A save by Poulin off his pads. He didn't know where it went. The net went askew. And the bouncing ball saved right on the pads of Mike Poulin.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing here with the Georgia Swarm power play. They have such great talent. They can put everybody anywhere. Thompson can play up top. Stats can play to crease. Matisse can play up top.
Shot in the goal by Georgia. 5-0. A power play goal by the Swarm. And the crowd here at KeyBank Center is just stunned.
Yeah, Jerome Thompson makes the Bandits pay. Gets a good little look-see from Lyle Thompson. Nobody rotates over. They're in the diamond. And he howards one to the far side on DeRocio. You don't want to see that one the first time out in the net. And that's the third power play marker of the evening for the Swarm. 5-0.
Second goal of the season for Jerome Thompson. And I think we're going to have another penalty.
Oh, that's a bench minor for unsportsmanlike conduct. That's coming from one of the players or potentially one of the coaching staff. Not happy on how the things are going right now. 5:06 left in the first, Johnny. And the Bandits are down by 5.
So Jerome Thompson gives the Swarm a 5-0 lead on his second goal of the season. Played in his first game as a Georgia Swarm last week. The oldest brother of the Thompson brothers. All 4 of them out on the turf last week in Georgia, setting a world record. Guinness World Record, was it, on the mark?
It certainly was. 4 brothers in one game in any professional outing, Johnny. Pretty amazing.
And they are amazing tonight with a 5-0 lead here in the first quarter of play. Bandits with the ball Tito Hill shoveling move over to Dane Smith, settling things down from the left point, looking for an open lane, deking his way, shooting at shoulder, saved by Poulin. Rebound comes out to the right side and is picked up by a running crew from Georgia. The end of the line they go. Brian Cole shooting it. Missed off the stick of one of the Buffalo defenders. And Dane Smith, that is, and he gets up limping. That's not a good sight, as Smith had to just sprint all the way back down into the Buffalo zone to hold off Brian Cole. And Smith just ekes his way back over to the Buffalo bench. 5-0 Georgia. Mitch Jones with the ball. Far side pass over to Anthony Malcolm. He dekes his way, but being checked hard by Chet Tutton. Forced into the far corner. Buffalo hanging on to that ball. Deking away with 4 seconds left on the shot clock. Here's Malcolm, scores!
Oh, sometimes you got to be lucky to be good, Johnny. The ball just comes out of Priolo's stick, rolls into Malcolm's. They're just grinding the 30 seconds. They're man down. And Malcolm collects the inadvertent loose ball and goes, I believe, between the legs on Poulin. Great pickup. Inside roll. And before he lands in the crease between the pads and brings a little bit life to this Bandit crowd. Huge goal by Malcolm.
Good to see the red light go on behind Mike Poulin. The goose egg comes off the scoreboard for Buffalo. 5-1 Georgia here with 3:26 remaining in this first quarter of play. Great to have you with us tonight on the radio. 50,000 watt ESPN 1520, and to our affiliate down in Salamanca, WGWE, and to all of our viewers tonight here in the Western New York area and along the network line down in Georgia on NLLTV.com. Buffalo back to full strength, scrambling down to the zone. They go. Shot goes wide over to the high glass and stops things with 2:59 left to play. First quarter, 5-1 Georgia. This is Bandits lacrosse.
Pro lacrosse teams are now fielded in Philadelphia, Boston, New York, Maryland, Montreal, and Quebec.
Yesterday there was friendly competition and not so friendly competition. We knew our true colors weren't just worn on our backs, they were painted on our faces and hoisted as high in the air as we could possibly carry them. Whatever it took to claim our turf. Yesterday, we left it all out there. Blood, sweat, tears. You name it, we left it. We kept ourselves focused and we kept each other in check. And the only thing we took were epic shots. Yesterday, we saw more twists and turns in 8 seconds than most people saw in an entire season. We lost the ball, lost our minds. We lost count countless times in every game. If you could see the ball, that was a slow day. Yesterday, physics didn't apply to us. Gravity wasn't welcome in our box. Armed with just a stick and a ball, we took flight. Yesterday, we were the best we could be.
The NLL would like to welcome Sports Interaction as official partner in Canada for the 2017 season. Sports Interaction, Canada's home for worldwide sports betting. Bet responsibly at sportsinteraction.com. John Gertler, Randy Mearns with you this evening. First quarter of play. 5-1 Georgia. Randy, well, we've got some time. Best wishes and lots of love going over to Bruce Barker, the PA voice of the Toronto Rock, who unfortunately had a stroke a week and a half ago. And as I understand, he is resting, trying to get himself back together again. And we're thinking about you, Barker. Bruce Barker, the PA voice of the Toronto Rock.
Well, and he's probably sitting back watching as the Toronto Rock, 4:49 left in the second. They're beating the Saskatchewan Rush 8-1. Wow.
5-1 here in Buffalo, Georgia. Bandits with the ball. They're back to full strength to 5-on-5. They're a pretty good team, Randy, but they haven't had much chance so far in this first frame.
Well, they spent about 7 minutes in the box, and the Bandits have not really had the ball, as the Swarm have just been able to control, and it just feels bad. You know, count their lucky stars. They're only down by 4. A lot of goals can happen real quick. Buffalo just needs a couple of good defensive shifts here, Johnny.
18-6 in shots favoring Georgia. They've got the ball down in the Bandit zone, leading it 5-1 from the slide area. Good feed pass. Score! Georgia
Yeah, they're going to count that one. That one went off at the Rocho's stick and then slipped onto the back. A good pick and roll, little slip. And that's Jerome Thompson. He goes short side. Looks like it goes off the inside arm into the net and then real quickly spins back out. Great call by the official. And that's number 2 for Jerome Thompson tonight.
In our conference call on Wednesday night with Ed Cuomo, we talked about the systems that they employ and whether or not they allow the freestyling with these very talented offensive players. And he told the both of us that, well, we do have a system they play within it, but artists are artists, and you got to let them paint.
Well, you got to let them paint. Yeah, they're like Rembrandt. You know, they have the systems. They have the righties, the lefties. They'll go, and they kind of provide some guidelines, whether it's how quickly we're going to go to the cage, but they just play on instinct. And that was a great pick and roll, little slip. Nobody rotates over, and Thompson's got his number 2 on the evening.
Anthony Malcolm, the lone Buffalo goal scorer, leaving it over to Mitch Jones. Now Darryl Veltman from left taking a shot. Poulin with the save, scoops it back up in the big webbing of his stick, and the outlet pass down the left wing lane over to John Rannigan. Surprise acquisition for New England. He takes a shot right on. The Fish makes the save, and the rebound dumps all the way back out to midfield. And Matthew Bennett will bring Buffalo outside the restraining line. And now we've got a penalty coming up against Georgia, so a delayed call. The extra attacker is out of the ice, and Dave DeRuscio made his way over to the bench. Benesh leads the way from the top of the slot, near side, back over to Mitch Jones with a shot. Goes over the shoulder. Stainhouse retaining it. Over and back waved off. Anthony Malcolm back over to Stainhouse. There's a shot straight on by Malcolm. Off the side of Poulin. Rebound picked up by Georgia, and we'll have a stoppage in play. We have not seen Dane Smith since that defensive play down in the Bandit zone. He limped back off, and what do you see on the bench? Do you see 92 at all?
Yeah, I'm taking a peek right now. I have not seen him. He might have went back into the locker room. And that's going to be a big blow for the Bandits if he does not return. Now, that being said, the Bandits down 6-1. Huge opportunity. First power play opportunity of the evening. Try to create some momentum before they get out of this first quarter here, Johnny.
Leo Storos going to the penalty box, affording Buffalo a power play opportunity. A shot right on. Poulin making the save. The rebound as Alexander Keto Hill is hit from behind. There is no call, much to the dismay of the crowd from the far corner. Stainhouse with the ball, directing traffic. Here's Veltman from the top of the slot to Ryan Benesh, shooting at Poulin with the save. Rebound, Mitch Jones over the shoulder of Poulin. Got a piece of it, and Buffalo resets the shot clock with a power play down into the Georgia zone. Now back over to Mark Stainhouse. Stainhouse, top of the slot to Veltman. Here is Ryan Benesh over to Veltman. Veltman to Mitch Jones. Jones now to Benesh to Stainhouse. Here's Veltman with a shot. He scores!
Wow, they needed that in the worst way. The ball filters around. It doesn't look like the power play's really doing anything, but they're just trying to find the 2-on-1. And it ends up being Stainhouse to Veltman. And Veltman able to step down high to low, far side on Poulin. Poulin can't throw out the left pad quick enough. First power play marker for the Bandits, and Veltman with his first at 6-2. Georgia Swarm.
38 points last year in his 9th season. The lefty giving Buffalo their second goal on the 11th shot of this game for the Bandits. 6-2 with 9 seconds remaining in this first quarter. One to forget for Buffalo right now, as Georgia comes right back down into the Buffalo zone. Shot going wide. No time left for the first quarter. So Bandits look to settle things down here at the end of the first and get ready for a wild second. Stick with a 6-2 Georgia. This is Bandits Lacrosse.
And now, Mia, time for your unstrung hero, a player that may not have got on the board for his team, but made a difference in some other way.
Well, this player got on the board for his team a few times, but he also made a huge impact on the team in other ways as well. And for my unstrung hero of the week, I have to go with Logan Schuss. of the Vancouver Stealth. Now, earlier this week, Logan actually posted on his social media that he was so excited to take on his new role as an assistant captain for the first time with the Stealth this year. So that tells you right away that he is a leader on the floor and off the floor for this team if Vancouver has put the trust in him to take on a leading role as an assistant captain. But then again, on the floor, what he did really helped the team with their 2 wins this weekend. He had 5 goals and 5 assists over the weekend. He sits 5th in the league for scoring points. So I have to go with Logan Schuss as my unsung hero for both what he did on and off the floor this week.
Logan Schuss is a very exciting player to watch. He's got such a calm and cool approach to his game. And if you watch him, he's just got awareness and always knows where the net is. He doesn't even have to be looking, but he's able to make successful passes and shoot the ball on net without looking at the net. So I liked what I saw of him in their opening weekend.
Georgia in the first quarter of play started at the 1:30 mark with Lyle Thompson scoring. Then 2-0 Georgia at 5:31. Randy Stotts the first of 2 in this first quarter for the second-year pro. 3-0 Stotts again at the margin of 5:54. 8:17 Georgia on the scoreboard, and that's off the stick of Jordan Hall. They went up 5-0 at 9:54. Jerome Thompson, the first of 2 tonight in the first quarter of play. Buffalo on the scoreboard. Anthony Malcolm with his first of the season at 11:28, and then 12:47. Georgia finding that again with Jerome Thompson. And then Buffalo right back on the power play with Darryl Beltman, 6-2 as we begin the second quarter of play tonight from the KeyBank Center in downtown Buffalo. Bandits only lost last year here at KeyBank Center. It was to the Georgia Swarm. Quite a margin of victory between these two clubs over the years that they have faced each other. Randy, I think we remember the first game ever in Minnesota. A huge snowstorm.
Oh, I remember that.
First game ever for then the Minnesota Swarm.
That was a big snowstorm. I remember we had to take taxis.
Oh.
Didn't we have to take taxis?
It was just right across the street. Our hotel was just right across the street. It was snowing so hard.
That's old school, Johnny.
Second year now in Georgia, just outside Atlanta. Beautiful facility, the Swarm play in. And putting together quite a team. A great performance tonight with a 6-2 lead.
Well, it looks offensively. I haven't seen Dane Smith. It looks like John Tavares has 6 offensive players out the front door that he's going to utilize. Dane Smith still in the training room, back in the locker room. Have not seen him. That could be a big loss the remaining of these 3 quarters for the Buffalo Bandits. We'll keep an eye on it.
Again, hampered on an injury in the first quarter of play while doing his defensive duties down in the Bandits zone. Looked like he might have twisted his ankle. He limped off. And as Randy had mentioned, we have yet to see him after that. Here comes Buffalo with a transition, making a feedback out in front. Perez with a shot. Poulin with a save. The rebound jumps out in front. And Georgia is there quick to scoop it up. Alex Trepensek with a nice move, and down the right wing lane comes Jerome Thompson looking for a hat trick. Thompson feeding it back out in front to Chad Tutton. He scores.
Yeah, Chad Tutton more on the defensive end, known, for a transition at North Carolina was more of an offensive guy, but he gets down the floor. It's a quick 3-on-2. They beat Buffalo in that transition change game, and Chad Tutton just gives the inside roll spin and reaches up over the top of DeRocio. He's so big, he's so strong. Before he lands on the crease, he puts the Swarm back up by 5.
First of the season for Chad Tutton, the #1 draft choice out of North Carolina. 22 points last year for Chad Tutton. And it's 7-2 Georgia. They've got the ball again down into the Bandits zone. Jordan Hall with it, trying to eke out of the restraining line. Feeding the pass to the far side over to Jordan McIntosh. Double teamed on the play, but McIntosh manages to get a pass right out in front, and a nice nifty move by Kyle Matisse. Again, the Swarm have the ball from the reset of the shot clock, leading at 7-2 here in quarter number 2. From the far side, down to the near side. Shane Jackson with a shot. Mauricio makes the save, a one-handed gather by Georgia. Right back at it. Darusio again with a save. Mitch Jones trying to grab the ball, but good pressure on by Georgia. And another penalty coming up against the Bandits, and it looks like it's going to be holding call.
Yeah, nobody's happy about that, not even the crowd here. It looks as though Mitch DeSnoo is going to go to the box for 2 on the hold. And you hear the boo birds here at the KeyBank Center. They're not happy, and the Swarm going to go on their 3rd power play of the evening. Actually, check that, 4th power play of the evening. They're 3 for 3 on 7 shots. Goals by Stotts, Jordan Hall, and Jerome Thompson.
Swarm with the ball down into the Bandit zone. To our broadcast right for our radio listeners tonight here at the KeyBank Center. Top of the slot, the quarterback of the play right now is Lyle Thompson. Looking for a move. Thompson feeding it back over to Jordan Hall. Quick give and go, score off the stick of Shane Jackson. Tic-tac-toe, 8-2, Georgia.
Yeah, that one's a design play. Shane Jackson originally had cut all the way through, went around the cage. Everybody's looking at Lyle up top. He quickly throws it to Jordan Hall. Jordan Hall does the old slip. And Jackson, quick stick before DeRocher could get to the short side. And that's another power play marker. That's the 4th of the game, Johnny. And the Swarm up 8-2.
27-13 in shots favoring Georgia from the draw. Won by Buffalo on a technical move. Mitch Jones in over the line. He goes from the right wing side. Buffalo setting their offense from the outside now is Alexander Keto Hill. Stainhouse far side. There's a shot straight on, and Poulin making a sweeping save as Buffalo made a nice connection there. And that went off the stick of Darryl Veltman. Loose ball picked up by Georgia. Swept off the move of John Rannigan. Jerome Thompson going to work with the ball, leaving it over to Shane Jackson. As the Swarm do just that down into the Bandit zone, leading it 8-2. Getting in close, shot. Left side of Dave DeRusio. Rebound is David Brock getting the ball out for Buffalo and filing it back out over to a running Brad Self. In over the line he goes. Scored on December 30th. His first as a Buffalo Bandit after those fine years in Rochester. The transition player of the year last season. There's a long drive by Veltman. Save. Poulin rebound. Swatted out by the webbing of his big goal stick. And Georgia comes back out to midfield, leading this game 8-2 in this second quarter of play. Connor Sellers, the rookie, leaving the ball back out at midfield. Zed Cuomo's crew making the change up in over the line. Jordan Hall deking his way in close. Hall with a shot. Save. DeRusio. Rebound. Randy Stotts from the far corner. Stotts gathering the ball as the shot clock is reset for the Georgia Swarm. Shane Jackson is there to the near side. Getting a couple of swats from Mitch Wild. Ball to the far side of Randy Stotts. Leaving it back over from the top of the slot. Jordan Hall is there. A back pass over to Shane Jackson. Tried to thread the needle over to Miles Thompson, but Buffalo's defense intercepts, and here come the Bandits in over the line is Steve Priolo. He's got a lane. Priolo leaving it back over to Ryan Benesh. Couldn't get the high pass on the sweep shot, so Georgia comes right back into Buffalo territory. Chad Tutton leaving the ball to the near side. That's flipped back off the stick of John Rannigan as Georgia will change up on the fly. 8-2 Georgia. Here in the second quarter of play. A lot of time spent by the Swarm down to the Bandit zone, both in the first and in this second quarter of play. David Brock manages to scoop it up in his own zone and will clear it back out to midfield and open Kevin Brunell. In over the line he goes. Here's Brunell trying to deke his way, but stops it up, and Buffalo's offense comes back out of the turf led by Mark Stainhouse. Still no Dane Smith. Stainhouse back over to Veltman, deking in, taking a shot. Poulin with the save and the rebound to the right side of the Georgia net. Picked up by the 10th year veteran Mike Poulin. Great acquisition made by Georgia to pick up free agent Mike Poulin from Calgary. Shore up their defense. They spent a lot of time on the transition and defensive players this year in the draft. Stotts stopped into traffic. Rebound picked up by Buffalo. Andrew Watt getting the play back out to midfield, and Mitch DeSnoo with the ball into the line. DeSnoo taking the shot wide, hitting the end boards, wrapped up in the netting. Poulin is there, and he makes the outlet pass down the right wing lane. Over to Brian Cole. 8-2 Georgia. And hang on here. It looks like we're going to have another penalty coming up against Buffalo. A timeout. 8 minutes and 56 seconds remaining in quarter number 2. 8-2 Swarm. This is Bandits Lacrosse.
The National Lacrosse League logo honors its over 30 years of history, but also pushes towards a new era, a new day. An updated colorway of black and silver illuminates the way forward, with technology and innovation as our mandate. The shield captures the warrior spirit of the physical battle of sport while being modern enough to appeal to new audiences. The goal. By extruding the shape of the shield, the container is one that is a nod to the ubiquitous shape of a lacrosse goal. The original 4. 4 arrows representing the founding of our league with 4 professional box lacrosse teams. Washington, D.C., Baltimore, New Jersey, Philadelphia converge to create the NLL star, a modern interpretation of a star that combines both the arrows of the original 4 teams and a Native American morning star.
Pre-game party happening in the Lexus Club before all of the Bandit home games at KeyBank Center. Each party starts at 6 o'clock and continues until face-off right at 7:30. And the party includes a buffet and a drink coupon valid for 1 draft beer or a soft drink. Entry to the pre-game party can be purchased for $32, and that includes a 300 level game ticket, or you can purchase the buffet for just $17. Visit bandits.com to purchase yours for the next home game, which will be a week from tonight against the Vancouver Stealth. John Gertler, Randy Mearns with you this evening from the Ted Darling Memorial Press Box at KeyBank Center in downtown Buffalo. Scott Fleetwood is our director. Joe DiBiase is our producer tonight on the radio. And again, great to have you with us. Boy, it has been all Georgia, and they've been putting on a scoring clinic tonight.
Yeah, they certainly have, John, but the Bandits going to go on their second power play of the evening. They're 1 for 1. Daryl Veltman scoring on the first opportunity. Leo Storos going to serve the 2-minute minor for a too many men infraction on the Georgia Swarm as they were trying to create some offensive transition. Huge opportunity for the Bandits.
With the man advantage, Mark Stainhouse is there, goes to the far side, sweeping score, Benny!
Boy, and they needed that in a big way. A laser pass, side to side, skip the top man. And Benesh takes it upon himself. He goes sidearm bounce. Great feed by Stainhouse. Utilizes a Swarm defender. Jason Noble as a screen and blows it past Poulin to the far side. Huge marker. The Bandits needed that in the worst way, Johnny.
So Ryan Benesh, the leading scorer for the Bandits, going into this evening's game with his 4th goal of the season. Fifth year with the Bandits. Spent some great years with the Swarm operation while in Minnesota. Buffalo getting the ball out of their own zone. So a power play opportunity for Buffalo cashes in. The harvest, the result of 3 goals so far tonight to Georgia's 8. To see if the comeback of the game of runs of the indoor lacrosse margin. There's a shot straight on by Ryan Benesh. Kick saved by Poulin. Rebound is picked up by Georgia, and they'll push it back out to midfield. Second quarter action tonight from the KeyBank Center in Buffalo. The end of the line is Kyle Matisse, who directs traffic while the changeup is completed. Shane Jackson, creative offensive player that he is, fires the ball back out. Over to Jerome Thompson, back to Jackson, far side over to Randy Stotts. Now back over to Jerome Thompson, looking. 4 seconds left on the shot clock. Left side of DeRusio hits the end boards, and it's Buffalo's ball off the webbing of Dave DeRusio's stick, who has relieved Anthony Cosmo. It took a shot right on the knee in the open section on a laser by Georgia.
I've been watching the Buffalo bench. No sight of Dane Smith. It looks like the Buffalo Bandits, unless things change, are going to go with 6 offensive players for the remainder of the game. If we do not see Dane Smith, we'll keep an eye on that.
Change up of the rubber for Georgia here in the second quarter of play, just crossing the threshold into the Buffalo zone from the far side. Here's Cal Matisse with a nifty play and a pass right in front of Stotts. Stopped by DeRusio. Rebound is picked up by Buffalo. They got 8 seconds to get it out of there. And whether or not they can do it, and I'm not sure that they were caught as Matthew Bennett tried and struggled his way outside of his own zone, but good back checking by the Swarm.
Yeah, the
pressure's on.
The Swarm do a phenomenal job, Johnny, of just pushing and pressuring as the defenders try to get the ball, create transition. They haven't let Buffalo really get any kind of legs going up. There's always 1, 2, 3 guys pressuring the ball.
Mitch Jones on the give and go over to Mitch Wild, but it went wide, and rebound picked up by the Bandits, and they'll try it again from the outside. Brad Self leaving the ball before he goes over to the bench, and the complete entourage of offensive players for Buffalo out. Anthony Malcolm tipping it back over to Ryan Benesh from the far side. Over to Malcolm now to Mitch Jones. Alexander Keto Hill from the top of the slot. Looking, scooting in closer, taking a shot. Poulin with the shoulder save. Just with 2 seconds left on the shot clock, and Georgia's got the ball. Pushing it back out to midfield. Shots now 30-20 favoring the Swarm. They've got the 8-3 lead here in the second quarter of play. Deep from the corner. Shane Jackson now to the near side. Firing it back out to Randy Stotts. Save DeRusio. Rebound jumps out the left side of the Buffalo netminder. And the Big Fish pushes it back out to the near side. And Andrew Watt trying to get it together. And now some pushing and shoving with Kyle Matisse and Billy D. Smith.
I think
and the Bandits captain trying to get things sparked up here.
Absolutely, but I think that's going to be coincidental minors, probably both for a rough. Matisse and Billy D. Smith sharing a few words.
But check that. It's Brian Cole.
It's penalties to Georgia number 55, Brian Cole. To the Bandits number 3, Billy D. Smith. Cole and Smith, each 2 minutes per slashing.
They're both going to go 2 minutes per slash as opposed to the rough. Still 5-on-5 situation. Bandit ball at the center line.
Trying to get to work here for the Bandits inside the Georgia zone. Down 8-3 with 5 minutes and 7 seconds remaining. Mark Stainhouse over to the far side to Veldman. Now to the near side over to Anthony Malcolm. Malcolm trying to get in close. Defensive formation. Scored! Stainhouse.
Oh, a heavy rotation on the left-hand side. They're keeping all those defenders busy. Again, it's just a pick and roll with Malcolm Stainhouse. Pick and roll, Malcolm Stainhouse. Stainhouse finally gets the pop and slithers one through the legs of Poulin. And as bad as it almost feels, Johnny, this whole first half, the Bandits are only down by 4. And with Dane Smith out of the lineup right now, you know, it's going to have to be other guys got to step up. And a great goal by Stainhouse.
First of the season for Mark Stainhouse. 72 points last year. Put his effort in last game with the 3 assists. And leading the way with the 10 loose balls as well. But now Stainhouse finding Twine and giving Buffalo a chance here, just down by a half, 8-4. Second quarter of play, 4:51 remaining. This is Bandits lacrosse. Get all the highlights and reaction as well as game previews on the box. NLLTV.com. You can join Mia Gordon and Tyson Geik on NLLTV.com, NLL.com, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
All of it. Social media.
Telegram, Candygram. That's the box on NLL.com. John Kirtler, Randy Mearns, 8-4 the score. Georgia, 4:51 remaining. Here's the key, Randy. Give us a shot with the Buffalo Bandits retaining the ball after this timeout.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. They're only down by 4. It feels like they should be down by 15. Stainhouse, that was their first even strength marker. They had 2 power plays and a shorthanded marker. They just got to continue to keep on grinding. Here's the difference. DeRochio's making some good saves. He seems like he's finding his own rhythm in the Buffalo net. And if the defense can hold off the Swarm, 1-2 chip away, get this Bandit faithful, get this crowd back into the game. Still a long way to go here, Johnny.
Here come the Swarm outside the Buffalo restraining line, now penetrating inside. As Kyle Matisse goes from the top of the slot back over to the right wing side to Shane Jackson, losing the ball, swept away by Buffalo's defense. Jackson trying to get it back. Battle for the ball continues, picked up by Brad Self as he dekes his way out of the zone. Nifty pass to the left wing side of it to David Brock. Here's Brock in over the line. Far side pass over to Ryan Benesh, back over to Brock. Brock to Benesh, deking the shot over the shoulder of Poulin. The rebound trickles along the end boards, and a loose ball picked up by Georgia, and they've got it, pushing it back down into the Bandit zone. Leading this game 8-4 in this second quarter of play. Chad Tutton, who scored tonight, leaving the ball to the far side. Back over to Jerome Thompson, now to the crafty Randy Stotts. Stotts deking his way from Mitch to Snoo, from the top of the slot to Snoo, getting a shot on the side, and the technical foul on Buffalo affords, or check that on Georgia, affords Buffalo with the ball. And a sweeping shot by Benesh goes wide, and the rebound jumps all the way back out to midfield. And a loose ball picked up by Georgia. And the reset down into Buffalo territory. Georgia leading at 8-4. Deking is Jerome Thompson. Thompson feed pass over to Kyle Matisse. Matisse getting hampered by Buffalo's defense. Feeding it out in front to Thompson with a diving shot and a splitting save by DeRussio. Loose ball, Georgia. Resetting the shot clock. They'll do as such outside the restraining line. Now to the far side and back to the top of the slot to Matisse. To Shane Jackson. Jackson looking for an opening. Goes to the far side. Over to Kyle Matisse, who dekes his way back to the top of the slot by feeding a pass. 10 seconds left on the shot clock for Georgia. Matisse leaving it down in the corner to a stretching Shane Jackson. He's checked from behind, and
that's
stop the play, and it will be a technical foul.
Yeah, that's a tough call. Mitch Wild, hard GB in the corner, gives a little shot. As the shot clock was getting low, Buffalo started going on transition. The officials say, no, interference. Swarm get the ball back.
2:15 left to play. Score, Georgia.
Oh, and those are the ones that kill you. There was 1 second left on that shot clock. Wild gets called for the interference. The Swarm get the ball. Set up an over top of a hard pick. And Lyle Thompson, just like that, real quick, goes short side on the Ruscio.
So Lyle Thompson with his second goal tonight, 4th of the season. 27 goals last year for Lyle Thompson, and the Swarm with a 9-4 lead here with 2 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in this second quarter of play. Coming up at halftime, we'll talk with Bandits general manager Steve Dietrich. I'm sure he'll have a few choice words of the Bandits' performance here in the first half. And also talk about the start of training camp and his thoughts on putting the team together for the 2017 season. It's been a struggle for the Bandits after losing in the NLL finals back in June. Mark Stainhouse with a long shot left side of Poulin.
Unfortunately, that one wasn't going to count. There was an illegal pick as Stainhouse rolled over top of the pick a little bit too hard. And the Swarm regained possession.
So as the minutes count down, just a minute 30 remaining, Randy setting the stage for the locker room chat with head coach Troy Cordingley, offensive coordinator John Tavares, and defensive coordinator Richie Kilgore. What do you think will go on in order to change this game plan for Buffalo?
Well, I just think, first and foremost, I don't believe that Dane's going to be coming back into the game. So, hey, it's got to be by committee. Other guys got to get some things done. I think we got to continue to create transition, get up and down the floor. Oh, just like that, Johnny.
Good rebound off the stick of Dave Brock, and it's Mitch Jones finding that for the first of the season to narrow the margin. Now 9-5 Georgia.
Yeah, quick 4-on-3, and David Brock goes high to high, misses, comes right off the boards, and Jones corralling the loose ball and just going short side on Poulin. And again, the Bandits down by 4. I think, again, to your question, Johnny, is like, okay, we can't panic, but you know what? We got to get GBs. We can't allow Georgia to get second and third opportunities on their offensive zone. We got to try to create a little bit more transition. And then again, offensively, we got to try to create this, these transition opportunities. And on that 5-on-5, we got to break the house. We can't just rely on waiting for Dane Smith to do this. You know what? They got 6 offensive guys. They got to get this north, south, east, west. They got to get to the front of the house, Johnny.
Speed pass by Georgia coming right into Buffalo's zone. Good defensive play by Matthew Bennett as the ball goes to the right side of Durusio and pushing the ball immediately back up to the right side. Off the running of Justin Martin, the rookie. Getting some time here in the closing seconds of this first half. 9-5 Georgia, and a timeout being called.
Yeah, Eddie Como going to call the timeout. Georgia regaining possession. So 24.76 left. I'm assuming they'll go on some form of 6-on-5, and Sean Ferris and Eddie Como will get out there and create some of that offensive magic within the guy line, but allowing the creativity. And don't expect a shot to happen until the last 3 or 4 seconds of this 6-on-5.
Eddie Como, 17 years as a coach in the National Lacrosse League. His second season with Georgia. Toronto and Rochester. Some championship rings to go along with that. It is fine coaching. And as you had mentioned, Sean Ferris, one of his buddies and a good offensive coordinator. And it mixes in well this year with Dan Ladouceur and his first year with Georgia on the defensive side.
Oh, absolutely. And Dan Ladouceur, a lot of championships as a player with the Toronto Rock back in the day.
All right, George,
so tightening up the defense. The major objective this year, obviously, with the forwards that they had, many of which are first-round draft choices over the course of years. I think they had 12 first-round draft choices. 6 within the confines last year. Also picked up another one this year. And here they go with the style. Shot straight on. Just at the closing seconds of this first half off the stick of Jordan Hall. And we go to halftime with the Georgia Swarm leading the Buffalo Bandits 9-5. Shots on goal 35-23 favoring Georgia. Coming up at halftime here from Buffalo will be the Bandits general manager Steve Dietrich. This is Bandits Lacrosse.
Last season, Shane Jackson led the Swarm in goals as they made it to their postseason, their first year as a franchise in Georgia. But according to Jackson, that's not enough. We caught up with him to find out how he has raised the bar for this upcoming season.
Crowley to Evans, and he wins it!
Short side.
Sean Evans wins the game, and the Black Wolves advance to play Buffalo.
It was a tough loss. That game could have went either way. We'll keep that in the back of our mind this year.
Let's rewind to the start of last year. A new home meant new hope for the Georgia Swarm, and 2016 brought just that.
We had been struggling for 2 years there, not making the playoffs, and that was really tough on all of us that were a part of that. So we really wanted to, get a fresh start in a new city.
The team went 8-10 and found themselves in the postseason. Forward Shane Jackson had a lot to do with the team's success, leading them in points and goals.
At any given night, any guy could go off for 5-6 goals. So, it doesn't really matter who scores. So I was just the benefactor of some good players.
But the dream year ended in heartbreak. An overtime loss to New England in the East semifinals ended the Swarm's playoff hopes. But Jackson says that loss is a motivator for the new season.
You always want to go as far as you can. The ultimate goal is to win the Champions Cup. So we weren't there last year. So, for all of us, I think it motivated us during the summer and in the off season to, get better as players. And
And with the new season comes new hope yet again for Georgia.
It's a cliche, but literally just take it game by game. We can't look behind, we can't look ahead. We have to focus on the one game that week, and we got to just take care of business that week.
For NLL Productions, I'm Mia Gordon.
My name is Brian Lemon. I'm Vice President of Lacrosse Operations in the National Lacrosse League. I handle all competitive aspects of the game, and certainly excited to be here with Crossover.
Welcome, lacrosse fans. Tyson Geik of NLL Productions here with you right now, and I'm joined by Shay Hewen, CEO and founder of the U-Hawk Camera. We have some exciting news for you today. The NLL has officially partnered with the U-Hawk Camera, the new official action camera of the National Lacrosse League. Shay, an exciting moment, for both parties here.
Yeah, it's an incredible day. It's a big step and a big moment in the history of sports, and for the National Lacrosse League to be the first league to step up and bring actual player point of view, video footage to fans at home in the actual real raw competition in the season. It's a monumental day, and we're very excited to be the official camera provider to be a part of that.
It's a very pivotal moment for the sport. How is it going to affect the sport at the grassroots level and really help grow the game?
Well, that's a big part of it, and a lot of what went into the decision making and making this happen is we have a lot of partners now who are kind of coming around and going to help, distribute the content and grow the game together. And a lot of these kids, they live on social media these days, so to be able to provide them a new angle, even after the game, to see these highlights is going to be extremely engaging. And the National Lacrosse League is a big part of growing the game, and we're happy to assist in that.
a very sleek and compact design for these cameras. I think players are going to really enjoy wearing them. What went into the design here?
Well, we knew we wanted to be here someday. And in order to do that, we had to think of a camera that was going to be, sleek and slick enough that the player would forget he's even wearing it. So we wanted to design something, that would do just that and kind of embody the essence of an athlete. And, the great benefit is that these players now actually get to see the game again from their own eyes, and to be able to do that game over game throughout the course of a season is really going to help them perform, and they're excited about it as well.
Well, lacrosse is such a tough sport, and hitting is involved here. So how much of a beating can these cameras take?
Well, I think we're going to put them to the test today. So, they're very strong, they're very durable, and they sit in just the right spot. So we're going to find out.
Shay, we got the chance to catch up with some of the players to see what they thought of the new U-Hawk camera.
Hey, I'm Jesse Gamble, the Toronto.
Hello everyone, Mia Gordon here from NLL Productions, and we have some exciting breaking news for you today. The NLL has announced a partnership for this upcoming season with Epic Lacrosse. We are joined now with NLL Commissioner Nick Sakevich, as well as owner and founder of Epic Lacrosse, James Maselli. So let's get right into it. Nick, I want to send this to you. Can you talk to us a little bit more about this partnership?
Yeah, so we've been really focused on a lot of the endemic category sponsors, and we're proud to announce that Epic's joining us with many of our previously announced companies like Under Armour and String King. We're really excited to bring Epic on board. They're a best-in-class producer of incredibly good lacrosse equipment, great lacrosse equipment that our players will have access to. Love the company, love the company's core values and commitment to lacrosse, and it's really exciting to bring world-class companies like this to the league.
James, what are you looking forward to most joining the NLL in 2017?
Yeah, Mia, thanks for having me today. At Epic Lacrosse, we're very excited. This is our first partnership with a pro league, and we're excited that the best lacrosse players in the world will be using our gear next season, from sticks and heads and mesh to shafts, gloves, arm guards, shoulder pads. They're using the whole lineup that we have.
James, I know you guys have a set of engineers at Epic Lacrosse to create the best possible equipment. So can you take us through that process?
Sure, absolutely. I think it all begins with a passion and love for the game, and all of our engineers who range from composite engineers to material engineers to mechanical engineers, have all played lacrosse. So they have a understanding of the game unlike any other. We don't have to try to explain what we're looking for. They understand the feel. They understand the performance attributes that players want. So with that, the rest of the company, every single person in our company has actually played lacrosse as well, including our accounting department, marketing department. So we all get in a room and we brainstorm. We like to think of ourselves as problem solvers, and we understand what is wrong with the game or what do we want to fix things from an equipment standpoint, and we brainstorm and we figure it out. And the process is probably the most fun part of my job. I would think that they agree as well. And we just continue looking for new materials, new process, manufacturing techniques that can build better products for us.
What do you believe will be the biggest difference for these players while using this new equipment?
Sure. I think it's going to come down to feel. Feel is one of those words that it's hard to attach other descriptors around it. We just could say, hey, it feels better. And some of the feedback that we've gotten from the players initially is, wow, I can't believe how nice these gloves feel. We can put a bunch of marketing and technical aspects behind that, but the feel of the product is really what separates it. We're using better materials, better manufacturing process to improve that feel and the connection point between the player and his equipment. And I think the moment that players actually put the gloves on or use one of our sticks, they immediately feel the difference between everything that they've ever used in their career. And we're seeing that every day when we're sending product out to our potential players this season.
Nick, I know that you said you believe partnering with Epic Lacrosse will take the game to the next level. Can you elaborate on this?
Well, the sport of lacrosse is growing so dynamically on both sides of the border, both in Canada and the U.S., and Epic understands that, and all of our partners understand that. And I think the timing for the sport and where we're going to see the sport grow in the next 5 to 10 years is going to be exponential. And having partners like Epic on board and in our family of marketing partners is going to help us grow the sport even further, be it at the grassroots level, like kids playing in high school. We see a huge increase in women playing the game. And at the professional level, the fact that we have a partner like Epic and others that we've announced in the last several weeks is really critical for a league like ours to grow.
Well, a very exciting announcement today, gentlemen. Thank you both so much for joining me. Cannot wait to see what this partnership will bring in 2017. For NLL Productions, I'm Mia Gordon. Hey everyone, Mia Gordon and Tyson Geik from NLL Productions here, and we have some big news for you. NLL TV is officially here.
You won't have to miss any of the games, any of the goals, any of the big hits, any of those huge saves.
Tyson, I think they get it. They won't miss any of the action from the upcoming season if you subscribe to NLL TV today. Hello everyone, Mia Gordon here from NLL Productions, and we have some exciting breaking news for you today. The NLL has announced a partnership for this
Shot, rebound, picked up, Keto Hill, what a great save! Stone Cold, wow! Andre Jeter shoots! Game over! That's the trophy! Fireworks on! The atmosphere is electric. Here we go!
Here's Veltman with a shot. He scores! Darryl Veltman scoring. Stainhouse-Benesh with the even strength goal. Georgia following an 8-2 lead. Buffalo here in the second quarter of play. At 6:31, it's Ryan Benesh. With the man advantage, Mark Stainhouse is there. Goes to the far side. Sweeping score! Hey!
Boy, and they needed that in a big way.
6:31 the time. Stainhouse and Alexander Keto Hill even strength. Buffalo gets another score at 10:03. Mark Stainhouse. Mark Stainhouse over to the far side to Veltman. Now to the near side over to Anthony Malcolm. Malcolm trying to get in close. Defensive formation. Score! Stainhouse. 10:03 the time. The score 9-5. But hang on, we have one more score at 13:57. Guess who? Mr. Jones.
I think we got to continue to create transition, get up and down the floor. Oh, just like that, Johnny.
Good rebound. Dave Brock, and it's Mitch Jones finding that for the first of the season. 13:57 at the time of the goal. Mitch Jones from David Brock. 9-5 the score at halftime, and we'll have more numbers in just a couple of moments. We're going to ask our producer Joe DiBiase to keep it right here because both teams are back out on the floor, and we'll fill those spots later, maybe never, as we don't want to miss a moment here in the second half of play. It's great to have Steve Dietrich on talking about the performance of his club, what he would do as a general manager from his perch up here, and as a former goaltender, what he said is just what you had said coming in to the end. the second half. Just get back to the first half. Just get back to the basics.
Yeah, you just got to get back to the basics. You got to get those GBs. You got to not allow Georgia to have second and third opportunities on offense. You got to get those loose balls, and then you got to create offense, create some transition, take advantage of those odd man opportunities. If not, you're on that 5-on-5. You got to go north, east, south, west, east. You got to keep on the ball. You got to keep the ball hot. You got to get those shots to Poulin, and not from bad angles as they did a good part of that first half, Johnny.
9-5 Georgia as we get the third quarter underway. Bandits will be moving right to left here for this. Down 9-5. Shots on goal 36-24. We'll have more numbers for you in just a couple of moments while Georgia goes to work down in the Bandit zone. Kyle Matisse trying to set up a sweeping play. Loose ball picked up by the Swarm with 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Just an off-kilter shot, finding Buffalo coming up with a loose ball. And here come the Bandits back out to midfield, led by Brad Self. Shoveling move over to Mitch Jones, closing out the scoring in the first half of play for Buffalo. Whittling with the ball in the webbing of his stick. Jones, feather pass intended for Benesh, couldn't do it. Picked up by Alexander Quito Hill. Regathers the ball in the web of his stick from the left point. Hill being checked hard by Chad Tutton. Finding relief over to Alexander Malcolm. 1 second left on the shot clock. That goes wide, and the bouncing ball comes back out to midfield. Shift change into effect for the respective clubs. Offense for Georgia, defense for Buffalo, and Georgia with a long shot. Saved Durusio. Rebound picked up by Lyle Thompson. Thompson in traffic, goes to the far side. There's another pass by over to Miles Thompson. Off the stick of his brother Jerome. The trio out there for Thompson brothers. And here's Randy Stotts with the ball. Right wing pass far side. Shot right on by Jerome Thompson. Saved Durusio. Rebound Buffalo. And here come the Bandits. 3-on-2 break. In over the line is the Wild Thing. Mitch Wild over to Mitch DeSnoo. Now to Matthew Bennett. All defensemen out there along with Steve Priola with a shot. The rebound. Finding Buffalo, capturing it. It's Mitch Wild. Buffalo looking to get a change, get their offensive players out there. Not a bad set by the defensive players, Randy.
No, not a bad set. Again, shots were coming from way on bad angles, and then they play 5-on-5 offensively. But here's the kicker. Then they get the loose ball. They're able to change, and now lots of players back out on the floor.
Malcolm over to Veltman, shooting at shoulders, save Poulin. Rebound along the near board, swept by Georgia outside the restraining line. Scramble for the ball continues. It's Ryan Benesh, and the shot clock goes to Buffalo. Here's Benesh on a nice pass feed right in front of Poulin, and the veteran netminder making a key save in this game. 9-5 Georgia.
That's a huge save by Poulin. Benesh slips the seams, gets a quick feed, one touch, and Poulin with the big left pad.
Ed Cuomo changing his club out to the offensive players. Kyle Matisse is out there. A right wing pass to the far side over to Shane Jackson. Jackson leaving it. Back over to Jordan Hall. Hits the goalpost right side of the Big Fish. And the rebound jumps along the near boards. Good checking by Buffalo. There's some grit by Kevin Brunell. Pushing the ball along the boards, and it's picked up by Brad Self. Self directing traffic before he approaches the restraining line of Georgia. Pass back over to Mark Stainhouse. Double team play. Eluding that. Stainhouse back over to Self for the shot. He scores!
Oh, you can feel the tempo. The Bandits playing higher tempo, pushing it, taking chances. And Stainhouse kicks it from the corner to Self. And Self goes high to low, far side on Poulin through a screen. Great shot by Self. Number 2 on the night. And the Bandits are down by 3.
So the little things starting to pay off for the Bandits, and pushing that ball, passing the ball, and getting into prime position, and finding Twine here in this second half of play. And he mentioned down by 3. Brad Self with the ball. However, Georgia, with the continuation of their defensive formations, and Buffalo did not get the ball out in time, so it'll be Georgia's ball. Boy, pressure on it. It's paying off, Randy, by Georgia when they start to close in down in the defensive zone. Jerome Thompson deking his way, taking a diving shot, saved. Durusio. Rebound along the boards to the end of Durusio. The big 300-pound netminder, putting some pressure on, and
looked like Buffalo was going to get possession.
Steve Priolo trying to loosen things up here, and a little pushing and shoving up behind the Buffalo net. See what happens when everybody breaks free, and if any penalties will be issued. A technical foul initially called, and then there was some negotiating going on the reason of the call. And it looks like Mitch Desnew, along with will be going to the respective penalty boxes.
Yeah, I think they're both going to get two, either for a slash or for a rough. Buffalo was going to gain possession. They started getting up the floor. Priolo got tied up, gave a little bit of a shove. I think it was a little bit of a sell because one of the Swarm players flew himself at the boards. The referee calls interference, going to go Swarm, and then a little mischief going on in the corner. She's still going to be 5-on-5 here, Johnny.
Third quarter action, 9-6 favoring the Swarm, but Buffalo's coming on strong here in the second half. Swarm with the ball down to the Bandits zone from the slot area, now to the near side over to Kyle Matisse. Matisse inching in closer, looking for an open lane. Elects to go to the far side. Shots right on. Jordan Hall scores.
Wow, that's a laser. Jordan Hall does the old pop as the slice goes down. He's screened out and gets a great feed. Nobody rotates. Oh, and short side. Derosio wants that one back, but Jordan Hall, the veteran, he snipes high to high. Just like that, they're back up by 4.
Anthony Cosmo goes out after taking a hard shot in the first quarter of play, relieved by Dave Derosio. Also in the first half of play, Dane Smith, the MVP of the NLL last year, doing some defensive duties down into the Buffalo zone, appeared to look rolled an ankle. They're calling it a lower body injury, and as we know, he will not return for this evening's game. Swarm trying to make it 11, but a shot goes wide. Rebound jumps out at midfield. It'll be a foot race now and an over and back charge, and it'll be picked up by Buffalo. Good movement by Brad Self. Mitch Jones with the ball from the right point. Top of the slot as it goes back over to Daryl Veltman. Veltman now to Alexander Keto Hill. Scooping around is Anthony Malcolm. Mitch Jones with it to the near corner. Feeding it back out one-handed over to Veltman. Veltman top spot. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Anthony Malcolm taken down, shooting it. And a penalty coming up against Georgia as Anthony Malcolm is wrestled to the floor. And when we come back, the Bandits on the power play. 10-6 Georgia. This is Bandits Lacrosse. Tonight's sponsors, UBMD Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Randy, the numbers, and what do we have on the penalty?
Yeah, the Buffalo Bandits going to go on their third power play. They're 2 for 2 so far this evening on goals by Veltman and Benesh. Young going to serve a 2-minute holding infraction. And this is a huge opportunity here for Buffalo. You know, they kind of creeping into that 3. If they can get to this 3, they can get one more, get within that 2, get this Buffalo Bandit crowd rocking. They're not that far off from making a run at this game here.
Anything outstanding on the numbers from the first half? You don't have to go through the whole thing, but what do you see there that has any positive notes for Buffalo?
Well, I just think that Buffalo was in the penalty box a little bit too much, and you can really tell Georgia out shooting the Bandits 35-23 and out loose balling them by 5. And the Swarm getting those second and third opportunities, which creates offense and then just kind of makes you feel like you're not really playing great defense. But I would say this, as of late, DeRocio coming in, he's making some saves, Johnny. That's a big key factor for the Bandits to get back into this game.
Poulin with the big save there. The Bandits man up, resetting the shot clock, and the Bandits go to work. Feldman quarterbacking the power play over to Steinhaus with a shot that whistles wide. Rebound Buffalo. Mitch Jones scoops it in from the right point. Down now to the near corner. Ryan Benesh to the outside. Top of the slot is Feldman. Here's Steinhaus. Back over to Feldman. Feldman feed pass over to Benesh. Shot wide. Rebound. Alexander Keto Hill. Steinhaus. Jones with a shot. Hit the goal post, and the ball goes up and over the netting and into the crowd. Buffalo retains the ball. Shot clock fresh. Down 10-6. Man up. Steinhaus now. Top of the slot over to Veltman. Veltman over to Ryan Benesh. Twirling around. Benesh shooting at Poulin with the and the rebound picked up by the netminder, and the netminder's stick and cleared back out at midfield. Foot race as Jerome Thompson comes up with the ball. Feed pass over to his brother. Stopped off the shot of Miles Thompson by the big fish.
Oh, that's a huge save by DeRocio. Again, that would have been a shorthanded goal by the Swarm. Beat the transition all the way down the floor. DeRocio with the big left pad.
Power play continues for Buffalo. 30 seconds left on the call. Over to Sean Young. 10-6 Georgia. Buffalo looking to make it 7. Here's Steinhaus shooting it to the right side of Poulin. Did not hit him. 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Veltman will leave it outside the restraining line, and Georgia goes to work shorthanded. Immediately down into Buffalo territory, led by Jordan McIntosh. He'll direct traffic and take more time off the penalty to Sean Young. 5 seconds remaining on the call. 10-6 Georgia here in the third quarter of play. Our thanks to Bandits general manager Steve Dietrich for joining us at halftime. Randy Stotts leaving the ball out in front, intended for Jerome Thompson. Loose ball picked up by Mitch Wild, and he turns on the speed. The Wild thing in over the line with Mitch Jones. Jones feed pass in front, intended for Anthony Malcolm. Couldn't get the full swing on the pass. The ball goes down into the near Georgia corner. Pressure continues and play is called. It will be Buffalo's ball and a fresh 30.
Yeah, that's a hustle play in the corner. Coach Cordingley, I'm sure at halftime said, boys, we got to get going here. We got to play more urgency, a little bit more intensity.
43-33 in shots. Buffalo with the attack, but an illegal pick, so it'll be a call left over in the corner. And also a delay of game penalty, I believe, on Alexander Keto Hill.
Yeah, Keto Hill comes up and gives a nice up pick on Mark Steinhaus. He gets called by the officials, gives the old little flip into the corner.
6:59 remaining third quarter. Let's pause for station identification down the line.
This is Buffalo's home for ESPN Radio, 1520 AM, WWKB Buffalo.
Action from the KeyBank Center in Buffalo. 10-6 Georgia on another power play.
Yeah, fifth power play. And that's 5 for 5, Johnny.
Finding Twine. Ball movement extraordinaire. And the Georgia Swarm score their 11th of the night.
A great feed by Lyle Thompson. I'm trying to check to see who got that goal.
Miles.
And that looks like Miles. It's not like they haven't done that before. DeRocio, you got to come out. You got to respect Lyle Thompson. Oh, just a great feed. DeRocio can't get back to that far side pipe. And just like that, the Swarm are back up by 5.
Third quarter action. It's been all Georgia in this game. Buffalo started out with a flurry of the second half, but Georgia coming back and taking the wind out of the sails with a couple of goals. And the 11-6 lead. They've got the ball out at midfield. Connor Sellers, the rookie, out of Belmont Abbey, will leave it out there for the offensive players as they attack down into the Bandit zone, led by Randy Stotts. Feed pass intended for Lyle Thompson. Forced along the far boards, managing to get it over to Shane Jackson. Feeding it back now to the near side. Ball takes a funny bounce, but Swarm retain it with just 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Stott scores!
Oh, just a killer. 2 seconds left on the shot clock. The Swarm corral the loose ball. They kick it once. They kick it to Stotts. And he goes far pipe on DeRocio for the hat trick. And the Swarm are doubled up on the bench, 12-6.
Well, one of the reasons why he was Rookie of the Year for his 95-point performance last year. First-round draft choice out of Syracuse. Gosh, he also had 21 playoff points. Randy Stotts on a show tonight here in the third quarter with the Swarm, 12-6 lead over the Bandits. Swarm will be back in action next week at home against New England. You can go to georgiaswarm.com for tickets. Here come the Swarm again. Shoulders saved by the Fish, and it manages to find itself into the twine. A freak goal, but it's the 13th scored by Georgia, and the fans just don't know what to think.
Yeah, Jerome, I believe that's Miles Thompson, gets a feed from Jordan McIntosh as he just slices through, and I think there's a loose ball. I believe that's Lyle Thompson picking up the garbage in front of the net. The replay here, Johnny. Oh, that's Miles Thompson picking up the garbage in front of the net. And when things are going bad, things are going bad.
Big night for the Thompson trio here in Buffalo. And the score now 13-6 favoring the Swarm. Challenge on by Buffalo. Well, why not? So the crew chief tonight, Chris Williams, will go to the off-field officials and take a look at all of the angles.
Yeah, I'm wondering, they're trying to see if actually a Swarm player was still in the crease as Miles Thompson put the ball into the empty net. DeRosio makes the first original save.
One of the things new this year, the fans here at KeyBank Center are able to see the replays going on. Prior years they weren't able to, and Randy, your call on this shot.
That's a great save by DeRosio with the big left shoulder on Lyles Thompson. I believe he falls into the crease. He's rotating out the backside. And then as Miles Thompson corrals the GB, I don't know, the stick's in there, the hands right around that crease area as the ball goes over the goal line. DeRosio does not see where the ball is, so Miles Thompson's got a wide open net. The question is Lyle still landing in the crease and still in the crease as the ball crosses the goal line?
Just overall perfect play tonight for Georgia, and amazingly enough in the first quarter, the way they put together their plays and the passing, just extraordinary.
Well, you know what? It's going
and
east.
Plays like this where it just works in their favor.
Yeah, sometimes you got to be, you got to be lucky to be good. You know, but I think it's just, you know, they're busting to the net, they're cutting the seams, they're cutting hard, they're willing to take the price, they're willing to take the hit to get something to the net. One here, Lyles Thompson gets smoked as he lets that shot go. And as everybody's kind of wondering where the ball is, Miles Thompson's the only one that sees it. He throws it into the empty cage. And this one's going to be it's a weird thing because Lyles Thompson, like his whole body's out except for his right hand is still kind of leaning in the crease. Now, did he lift the right hand up before the ball goes over the goal line? The crew chief's going to have a tough call here, Johnny.
So play has stopped here with 5:46 remaining in the third quarter. Swarm with the 13 on the scoreboard to Buffalo's 6. Shots on goal, 47-32. And if you just joined us again, Dane Smith out for the game. A lower body injury in the first half of play. Anthony Cosmo replaced by Dave DeRusio in the first. It appeared that Cosmo took a shot between his pads and the pants right in the open area of his knee and took a laser shot and slow in getting up. And I think the medical staff decided to say, nope, you better sit it out as well. Taking a look at frame by frame now, the crew chief, Chris Williams, on the challenge by Buffalo, whether or not the player that you're looking at, whether you're online right now, the player in back of the Buffalo net, and describing it to you on radio as well. And to see whether the ball crossed the plane, if the player was out of that zone. And you're taking it inch by inch, and I think you're right, Randy, with that right arm may or may not be into the line area behind Dave DeRusio.
Yeah, it seems like the right hand comes up off the line as the ball is going on that last angle that we seen. But we'll see what we got here.
Well, here's the call.
Well, they called it a goal on the field. It was challenged by the Buffalo Bandits, and it is inconclusive to overturn, and that's going to be the 13th goal by the Georgia Swarm. Here's what we got with the Thompsons, getting things done. Miles Thompson, 2 goals and 1 assist for 3 points so far. Lyle, 2 and 5 for 7 points. And Jerome, 3 goals and 3 assists for 6 points. 7 goals, 9 assists. A 16-point effort. We still got 20 minutes and 46 seconds left in this game, Johnny.
The Thompson brothers tonight here in Buffalo.
Wow.
13-6 Swarm from the good goal. Ball controlled by Buffalo from the draw. Mitch Jones has got it, looking for a shoveling move, which he takes over to Steve Priolo. Priolo mounts the attack right at the restraining line, elects to go to Mark Stainhouse, who feeds back over to Jones. Jones in over the line from the right point. Looking, forced back from the slot area. Stainhouse stationary from the far side. Veltman finding an open Anthony Malcolm. Malcolm deking his way, shooting a kick save by Poulin. Rebound is picked up by Chad Tutton. And the second-year pro will push it back out to midfield, leading at 13-6 here in the third quarter. Ed Cuomo's crew changing up on the fly. The forwards are out. Jordan McIntosh finding open to Cal Matisse, now to the far side, to the near side to Randy Stotts. Stotts getting some room to move as Matisse setting up a pick. Stotts getting his own rebound from the corner, taking a shot straight on, and DeRusio making the save, and the rebound comes back out up the outlet pass over to Kevin Brunell, who's for Buffalo in over the line. Feed pass back over to Brad Self, pulling his shift up front for the Bandits. Far side now is Anthony Malcolm. Malcolm back over to Ryan Benesh. Benesh, far side pass. Deking out in front to Alexander Keto Hill, shooting it to the left side of Poulin. And the bouncing ball along the boards. Picked up by Veltman, but we'll have a stoppage in play with 4 minutes and 19 seconds left here in the third quarter. 13-6 Georgia. This is Bandits lacrosse.
The most exciting
Pro lacrosse teams are now fielded in Philadelphia, Boston, New York, Maryland, Montreal, and Quebec.
Yesterday there was friendly competition and not so friendly competition. We knew our true colors weren't just worn on our backs, they were painted on our faces and hoisted as high in the air as we could possibly carry them. Whatever it took to claim our turf. Yesterday we left it all out there. Blood, sweat, tears, you name it, we left it. We kept ourselves focused and we kept each other in check, and the only thing we took were epic shots. Yesterday we saw more twists and turns in 8 seconds than most people saw in an entire season. We lost the ball, lost our minds, we lost count countless times in every game. If you could see the ball, that was a slow day. Yesterday physics didn't apply to us. Gravity wasn't welcome in our box. Armed with just a stick and a ball, we took flight.
Live this season on NLLTV.com. You can sign up for the NLL Pass to watch all of the games on your favorite team. Plus, you'll get exclusive content, highlights, interviews, and more. That's NLLTV.com. Sign up today. John Gertler, Randy Mearns with you from the Key Bank Center in the third quarter. Scott Fleetwood is our producer. Joe DiBiase is our producer, and I say Scott Fleetwood is our director, and DiBiase is our producer. 5:06 left in the fourth quarter up the QEW at the ACC. Toronto hanging on with a 13-10 lead over the Saskatchewan Rush. Here in Buffalo, 13-6 Swarm. And it will be the Swarm's ball when we get back to action, which we are doing right now on the turf and immediately down into Bandits territory. A bouncing ball finds Jordan Hall from the far corner in the Bandits zone. In pursuit is Steve Priolo. Hall with the ball. Far side pass over to Kyle Matisse. Matisse sneaking his way in closer. Far side pass over to Hall. Low drive by Miles Thompson. Saved DeRuccio. And the rebound finds Buffalo pushing the ball back out at midfield. And under a head of steam, in over the line goes Mitch Wild. Wild now over to Mitch Jones. Priolo remains out there to create some room, and now he's headed back over to the Bandits bench, and the change has been complete for the Bandit forwards. Stainhouse with the ball. Pressure over the line. Feed pass out in front. Veltman tried to get a shot away, couldn't do it. Double teamed on the play, and the 30-second shot clock expires, and it will be Georgia's ball. 13-6 Swarm here in the third quarter. It has been all Georgia in this game. A little bit of a flurry for Buffalo in the start of the second half, and here comes Georgia again with a shot in the goal. High side, low side, near far side.
Yeah, that looked like Brian Cole slipping the stream, coming right down the alley. Nobody picks him up. He just blows by the Buffalo defender. Goes short side, far side, comes back over the top of the left shoulder of DeRuccio. And that's an 8-goal margin. Great goal by Cole.
Scored his first in the National Lacrosse League last week at home in their big victory over the Rush. And the first round draft choice of 2016 out of Maryland, showing it how it's done. So the Swarm go to work down in the Bandit zone. Left wing passes Kyle Matisse. Matisse swirling it back over to Miles Thompson, looking for a shot. Good defense by Buffalo, and the loose ball picked up by Bennett, but the Swarm all over him. Randy, something that they have been very successful at doing so tonight, and it's a dividend pick up by Shane Jackson.
Yeah, they do a great job, the Georgia Swarm. They push up the floor. All of a sudden, there's a loose ball. 1, 2, 3 guys corral on the loose ball. It gets turned over by Bennett, and Shane Jackson is just sitting all alone in front of the net. They uptick the ball to Jackson. He just takes his little time, and then boom, just snapshots far pipe on DeRuccio. 15-6.
Mark Stainhouse will take the draw from center field after the Georgia goal. And the game plan is working perfectly for Ed Cuomo's crew. And as we had mentioned from the start of tonight's game, they just took over, jumped out to that sizable 5-0 lead, and they have not looked back.
Yeah, they got numbers again here. I don't know what Buffalo's doing. They're a man short. I don't even know if they realize they're a man short here, Johnny.
Now the offense coming back out on the turf. Compliments are there. Feed pass out in front. Benesh scores!
Now something for the Bandit fans that cheer about Benesh. Sets a hard pick right down the middle of the house. A nice little flip pass. Gets hammered by 2, but I believe goes between the pads of Poulin. And that's the 7th goal for the Bandits. And a little bit for the Bandit faithful to cheer about.
Second of the game for Ryan Benesh. And the Bandits have their work cut out for them with 2 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the third quarter of play to try to get a run going to make it respectable. But Georgia winning the draw and coming up with the ball and approaching the restraining line from the top of the slot. Here's a shot by McIntosh, saved by DeRuccio, rebound Buffalo. And a good, again, pressure on by Georgia as the transition is made. And this time, Mitch Jones has the ball in over the line. He's got Veltman with him at right. And Jones double teamed on the play. Veltman with the ball back over to Mark Stainhouse. Stainhouse dashing in front to Anthony Malcolm. Takes a shot, splitting save by Poulin. And he gets wraps up in his pads, and a stoppage in play will find Georgia being assessed a penalty.
Yeah, that's going to go against, believe, Jason Noble for a hold on Anthony Malcolm. Anthony Malcolm tried to do a little spin move. Noble give a little tug. Still got the shot off. Poulin handled it. But Noble going to go to the box for a 2-minute minor. Buffalo 2 for 3 on the power play. Oh, wow, they're going to call Noble with a 5-minute for high sticking. He comes in late on Anthony Malcolm. Buffalo gets an opportunity with Noble taking the major.
Benesh is out there along with Darryl Veltman and Mark Stainhouse with the ball. Stainhouse on the fresh 30. Veltman had the shot from the top of the slot, elected to feather it back over to Stainhouse, who has to gather it from the far corner. Getting a lot of pressure off the defensive mood of Ethan O'Connor. Here's Stainhouse for the shot. He scores!
Yeah, and they're going to count that one. That's a great individual effort by Stainhouse. Corralled the GB, gave a jab step, got up underneath. There was a holding penalty, I believe, going to come up against Stainhouse, the defender. But Stainhouse reach and comes back between the pads of Poulin. That's going to be a power play marker, Johnny.
Well, a lot of trash talking going on out now, and Mark Stainhouse is in front of the Georgia Swarm bench having a few, and they decide to go over to the Buffalo bench, and the push here for Buffalo now 15-8. Mark Stainhouse of the second of the night. And this is a perfect position for Buffalo to get on a respectable run while the 5-minute major being assessed over to Jason Noble.
Still a lot of time, Johnny. Still 16 minutes left in this game. Yep. They got the major. If they can get 1, 2, 3 goals here and bring this thing back within 4.
Short-handed, Georgia down into the Buffalo zone. Keeping it back out now to midfield. Good heads-up play by the Swarm, something that Ed Cuomo had said about their recovery from being down 7-4 last week against the Rush, that they made great decisions, Randy, and very smart decisions in the game plan, and it paid off big dividends with that big goal run that they had in 14 minutes of 7 goals. Under a minute to here in the third quarter. Buffalo working with a man advantage from the major called on Jason Noble. Here's Ryan Benesh from the slot area. Far side of it, a Stainhouse with a shot. That's blocked into traffic. Stainhouse gets his own rebound. 5 seconds left on the shot clock for Buffalo. Jones with a shot. Save. Poulin. Rebound shot clock is set. Here's Stainhouse with a shot. Poulin again with another save, and the rebound picked up by Alexander Keto Hill. Veltman from the top of the slot. 8 seconds left to play in this third quarter. Bendy with a shot. Save. Poulin. Rebound picked up by Georgia. Bandits thrashing for the ball. Gain control of it. But the third quarter ends. And Georgia hangs on to a 15-8 lead after 3. This is Bandits Lacrosse.
The National Lacrosse League logo honors its over 30 years of history, but also pushes towards a new era, a new day. An updated colorway of black and silver illuminates the way forward, with technology and innovation as our mandate. The Shield captures the warrior spirit of the physical battle of sport while being modern enough to appeal to new audiences. The goal. By extruding the shape of the shield, is one that is a nod to the ubiquitous shape of a lacrosse goal. The original 4 arrows representing the founding of our league with 4 professional box lacrosse teams. Washington, D.C., Baltimore, New Jersey, Philadelphia converge to create the NLL Star. A modern interpretation of a star that combines both the arrows of the original 4 teams and a Native American morning star. The 4 arrows converge to create the heart of the star representing the current teams and the fans, the beacon of the future of the National Lacrosse League. This is the National Lacrosse League. Today is our day.
Mark Stainhouse with 2 goals and 3 assists for 5 points going into the fourth quarter of play. Ryan Benesh with 2 goals and an assist for 3 points. And the Bandits will start this fourth quarter of play with a man advantage as the time ticking down on Jason Noble's major, 3:27. So the Bandits successful in the first power play attempt, and seeing what happens here in the second attempt on Noble's major call. Randy, numbers after 3.
Yeah, the Georgia Swarm out shooting the Buffalo Bandits by 14, 54-40. DeRocio, 38 saves, 32. Loose balls, the Bandits have equaled out the loose ball count, 58-58. The Swarm perfect on the power play, 5 for 5. The Bandits 3 for 4. And the faceoffs are 50-50. Both teams winning 13 faceoffs.
Your experience, not only as a coach, but as a former player of this game in the NLL, going into the fourth quarter, down by 7 to tie it up.
You just got to chip.
What are the combinations?
I mean, you just got to chip away here. You know, you're starting on the major, so you know what? You got to get something in the net. Run some system, 5-on-4. You got to bury. You just got to try to create some momentum. You got to get one here. You know, then you want to get another one on the major. Next thing you know, you can bring this thing to 15-10. Get this crowd into it. You know, you got to win some faceoffs. Get something more to the net. You just got to chip away here, Johnny.
Here's Jones out of the far corner, twirling, tried to feed it back over to Keto Hill, but couldn't do it. An errant ball picked up by the Swarm and swept back out to midfield. 15-8 Swarm. Here Jones of quarter number 4. Chad Tutton, who found net tonight, uses the turf to fire the ball over to Randy Stotts. Leaving it back to the outside. Watching the major penalty tick down on Jason Noble. Jerome Thompson, who's had a strong night tonight. Feed pass out in front. Short-handed save. DeRocio off the moves of Randy. Here come the Bandits with the man advantage. David Brock into the line. He goes over to Ryan Manesh. Now to Mark Stainhouse with a shot. Right side of Poulin. No shot clock reset. Time ticking down on the Bandits. Stainhouse with it from the left point. Top of the slot is Veltman. Here's Veltman now to Stainhouse. Stainhouse back over to Veltman with a shot. Save. Poulin. Rebound jumps all the way back out to midfield. Save the over and back charge. Bandits with a fresh 30. And the man up. Stainhouse with it from the slot area. Being pressured. Leaves it back out to midfield. A scramble for the ball. Finding Veltman saving it out at midfield. Save the over and back charge. He touched his leg on the inside, so it'll be Swarm's ball. Thompson is there being checked. And will hang on to that ball wisely as time ticks down on Noble's major at 1:32. 15-8 Georgia here in the fourth quarter. Played a couple of minutes. Lyle Thompson, part of the trio attack tonight here in Buffalo. Deking his way in close, taking the shot. DeRocio with the save. The rebound jumps back out. Pressure on by the Swarm. As Andrew Watt is taken down and managing to get the ball back out at midfield. Mitch Wild is there and leaving it to Ryan Manesh. A right wing pass over to Jones. Back to Manesh. He's got Anthony Malcolm with him at left. Now to Manesh from the slot area. Here's Malcolm with a shot. Blocked by the defense. Rebound picked up by Buffalo. Manesh with a shot. Goes to the right side of Poulin. Bounces all the way back out to midfield by Georgia. Lead pass out in front. Short-handed. They score.
And a great move by Jordan McIntosh.
Leaving the ball over to Alexander Krepensek.
Oh, Krepensek up the floor again, short-handed. They go on a 2-on-1. The power play unit a little bit slow getting back. And Krepensek just goes high to high to the right side of DeRocio. Another short-handed marker for the Swarm. And again, the Swarm are Bandits 16-8.
First goal of the season for Alexander Krepensek. Had 3 assists last week in the Bandits victory, or excuse me, the Swarm victory over the Rush. And just in the sequence of plays, we're going to have another. This one's going against the Bandits.
Yeah, this is going to be some form of, I believe, some form of unsportsmanlike. Yeah, that's going to be an unsportsmanlike conduct. I don't know if that's going to the bench area or to the certain player.
Well, David Brock is in the penalty box, and they're calling for another player, the in-house player, to serve what apparently will be the bench minor. And Mitch Wild. So Buffalo in penalty troubles as well. 32 seconds left in the call to Jason Noble.
Bandit penalty, number 13, David Brock. 2 minutes unsportsmanlike conduct of a 10-minute unsportsmanlike.
Oh, that's what it is. David Brock got the 2-minute unsportsmanlike and a 10-minute, so they got to send another serve. Brock's 2. We're going to play 4-on-4 here, Johnny, for the next 32 seconds, and then the Swarm are going to go back up on the power play.
Getting the formation set down into the Buffalo zone. 4, room to move for both clubs, and I think, Randy, you have to give the advantage to Georgia, the way they whipped that ball around and have been doing all game long.
Yeah, they're doing a great job to get in front of the middle of the net. You know, setting hard picks, slips. You know, angle passes, finding those backsides. It's doing a tremendous job tonight.
Feed pass out in front. Jones with a shot. He scores. How about that from Steve Priolo? And the Bandits on the board.
That's number 2 for Jones. Jones gets in behind a defender. Great laser pass by Priolo. Jones gives a little hedge fake. Poulin's got to go. He comes back to the short side, over top of the shoulder. Great goal by Jones. Cutting the Swarm lead to 7.
So Mitch Jones, who went scoreless in game number 1 on December 3rd, coming up big here tonight for the Bandits. And looking to make a run of things here in the fourth quarter. 16-9 with 11 minutes and 39 seconds left. Georgia with the ball immediately down to the Bandit zone. A backhander save, DeRusio. Rebound picked up by Kevin Brunell. And now an abbreviated power play for Georgia. As Mitch Wild serves David Brock's penalty. 1:17 left on the minor. From outside at midfield, Ryan Benesh is there, receiving the ball and passing it now over to Mark Steenhouse. Here's Steenhouse with a shot. Save, Poulin. Got in the webbing of his stick and makes the outlet pass down the right wing lane over to Jordan McIntosh.
Swarm been perfect on the power play tonight, Johnny. 5 for 5. 2 goals from Stats. Jordan Hall's got 1, along with Shane Jackson and Jerome Thompson.
Looks like another penalty coming up against the Bandits. While Georgia sets up shop down in the Bandit zone. Here's Shane Jackson with a shot. Saved. DeRusio smothers it up. And a call being made again against the Bandits, much to the dismay of Captain Billy D. Smith.
Yeah, Smith's going to go to the box for a slash. Just been a frustrating game for the Buffalo Bandits. He's not too happy with that. Got some choice words again for the officials. And the Swarm are going to have a 5-on-3 advantage for 36 seconds.
So a trio of Bandits sit down into the penalty. Short enough bench as it is with Dane Smith going out in the first half of play. So a 5-on-3 as Georgia with the formation down to the Bandit zone, looking to make it 17. There's a shot fired on by Stotts. Rebound picked up by Brad Self. Self getting the ball back out over to Matthew Bennett, and Bennett will push the ball for the Bandits out at midfield. This is fourth quarter action where the Swarm have a 16-9 lead over the Bandits. And a 2-man advantage to boot. But the Bandits doing a nice job. Here's Jones streaking in, taking a shot. The save, and the rebound is picked up by Georgia. And they reset out of their own zone by pushing it back out to midfield on this 5-on-3. Now 4-on-3. Or check that. 5-on-4. Minute 7 left in the penalty to Billy D. Smith. Jerome Thompson at right. Lyle at the top of the slot. Here's Jerome back over to Lyle. Far side pass over to Miles, but couldn't make it. Then he takes the ball away from Brunell. Takes the shot. Saved. DeRusio. Rebound Buffalo. Pressure on by Georgia as Wild gets out to midfield, or does he? Being hampered again by the pressure on by the Swarm. Something that's hampered Buffalo all game long. Steve Priolo back out at midfield. 9:12 left to play, fourth quarter. 16-9 Georgia. Priolo feed pass over to Mark Steenhouse with a shot. Save. And the veteran goaltender makes the outlet pass with ease back out to midfield. Over to Jerome Thompson, who's had quite a game against his former team. And his brothers, too. 5 seconds left on the call to Billy D. Smith. 15-9 Georgia. Now Buffalo back to full strength as the captain for the Bandits back out on the field, serving the 2-minute minor, and the bouncing ball picked up by Buffalo, and his clock will stop with 8 minutes and 31 seconds left to play into this very strange game, but a very good game for Georgia. 16-9. This is Bandits lacrosse.
Pro lacrosse teams are now fielded in Philadelphia, Boston, New York, Maryland, Montreal, and Quebec.
Yesterday there was friendly and not so friendly competition. We knew our true colors weren't just worn on our backs, they were painted on our faces and hoisted as high in the air as we could possibly carry them. Whatever it took to claim our turf. Yesterday we left it all out there. Blood, sweat, tears, you name it, we left it. We kept ourselves focused and we kept each other in check, and the only thing we took were epic shots. Yesterday we saw more twists and turns in 8 seconds than most people saw in an entire season. We lost the ball, lost our minds, we lost countless times every game. If you could see the ball, that was a slow day. Yesterday, physics didn't apply to us. Gravity wasn't welcome in our box. Armed with just a stick and a ball, we took flight. Yesterday, we were the best we could be. Today is our day.
Pro lacrosse Bandits. Scott Fleetwood is our director. And Joe DiBiase is our producer. Well, it has been all from the opening faceoff right up until now. See what the Bandits can do with 8:31 remaining to make it respectable. Randy, I know that we've talked about this all game long, but the formation that Ed Cuomo's crew has put in, and boy, you have to give credit to Dan Ledesur as well for the coverage that they've done, holding Bandits from getting out of their own zone.
Well, they certainly did. I mean, they pressure up the floor. They try to, because you get that 8 seconds mark, they pressure, double the ball. And if 2 or 3 guys are just going to the bench, there's no outlets, and all of a sudden the ball's going back the other way to Georgia, so they get those second and third opportunities. Defensive-wise, I think Ladesur's done a job. I mean, everything for the Bandits, for the most part, have been bad angle shots or from the outside. They haven't been able to really get into the middle of the house on the Swarm. That being said, Buffalo just playing so tight, and the Swarm have been able to utilize that pick and roll game. They have such great sticks. They're just getting some great opportunities to them. And they quite honestly, they've really, beat Buffalo in the transition game tonight overall.
7 minutes, 53 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter of play. The Swarm with a 16-9 lead over the Bandits. Bandits down in the Swarm zone. A long pass from Brad Self over to Anthony Malcolm, back to Self. Here's Stainhouse shooting at Poulin with a splitting save. Hitting high along the netting, and it will be Bandits ball in a fresh 30. From the right point. Ball is left by Darrell Veltman to the far side to Jones. Now to the near side of it, Anthony Malcolm. Malcolm looking. Far side to Jones. Jones deking as well. A little bit of out in front. Ball intercepted by Georgia, and now we're going to have a stoppage in play and a penalty coming up against the Swarm.
Yeah, and that's going to go against Sean Young. He's going to serve 2 for a hold. He got one earlier in this half on a pick and roll with Stainhouse and Anthony Malcolm. Sean Young gives the old tug, and the Bandits going to go on their 5th power play of the evening. They're 3 for 4 with goals from Stainhouse, Benesh, and Darrell Veltman.
With the ball down to the Swarm zone, quarterbacking is Stainhouse from the top of the slot. Ryan Benesh is at right, deep into the corner is Veltman. Now Anthony Malcolm from the area, back over to Veltman. From Benny, now a shot labeled on by Stainhouse. Save Poulin. Rebound is picked up by Buffalo, and the shot clock reset. Top of the slot is Alexander Keto Hill. Far side pass over to Ryan Benesh. Benesh in front. Shot straight on. And a pass by Mark. And he is taken down on the play while shooting it. He wants a penalty, but has to run to the bench because Georgia comes back out to midfield. 1:20 left in the penalty to Young. 16-9 Georgia. And from midfield, Swarm opened things up here, no pun intended, by managing the ball way from the outside. Jackson leaving it along the boards to Jerome Thompson. Ball is taken away, and Matthew Bennett pushes Buffalo back out to midfield. He's got Alexander Keto Hill from left, but he's being called back over to the bench, and Buffalo's forwards coming back out. 50 seconds left into the Swarm's penalty. There's a shot on score. Buffalo.
Fourth power play marker of the evening for the Bandits. That's one bright spot. They're 4 for 5. It's a 2-on-1. Benesh throwing them behind the back, and Daryl Veltman just jamming one high to high over the right shoulder of Poulin to bring the Bandits within 6.
Well, Veltman had a very strong training camp, did not participate in the December 30th game, as his wife gave birth to a baby. And boy, he's working it well tonight here for the Bandits. The 10th goal scored by the Bandits, second of the night for Veltman. 63-49 shots favoring the Swarm. Here's Brad Self scores.
Buffalo throwing a little bit of pressure at their own right. They double the ball. An inadvertent little flip pass. Self picks up the ball at the center line. He just comes in. It's a quick 3-on-2. He looks off one offensive player, just goes low to high over the shoulder for his second game, as Scott Fleetwood has quite rightly corrected me. And just like that, 5:49 left. Bandits down by 5. Kind of feel the crowd getting into it. Huge GB here, Johnny.
Brad Self, transition player of the year last season, showing his stuff for the Bandits here in the fourth quarter of play. Bandits with the ball immediately down in the Georgia zone. Mark Stainhouse is there, digging his way, lost it in the webbing of his stick, and it's intercepted by Poulin, who makes the outlet pass along the right wing lane. Checking the ball is Brian Cole. Right to the line, leaves it back out as Ed Cuomo's crew changes up on the fly. Shane Jackson is there along with Randy Stotts. Kyle Matisse. Now back over to Jordan Hall. Hall deking his way, far side pass, shot saved to Ruscio. In the webbing of his stick, and he makes the outlet pass out to midfield and is picked up by Andrew Watt. Watt grabbing the ball in the webbing of his stick as Buffalo attempts to get all of the forwards back out onto the turf with 4:50 remaining. Deking is Alexander Keto Hill. He's forced back behind the Georgia net. Here's Hill over the shoulder, shot wide. Rebound picked up by Georgia, and a break for the Swarm as brings his club right to the Buffalo restraining line. 16-11 Georgia. Swarm opened up with a 5-0 lead in this game. Errant ball. Andrew Watt is there, has got it now in the webbing of his stick as he cradles right to the threshold and crossing the line. Back to Burnell. He scores!
Buffalo transition, beating the Swarm back down the field. And Burnell posts up the seam, gets the ball from Benesh, and he goes high to low through the pads. Poulin. Great goal, great feed by Benesh. And the Bandits down by 4. Still some time here, Johnny.
Game of runs with 4 minutes and 17 seconds left to play in the regulation. And a timeout here at the KeyBank Center. 6-12 Swarm. This is Bandits lacrosse.
Last season, Shane Jackson led the Swarm in goals as they made it to a great start.
Up, up!
Jess?
Sponsor tonight, UBMD Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Bandits' next home game is a week from tonight. That's January 21st when Vancouver comes to town. Face-off time. You can get your tickets now starting at just $21 or your McDonald's Family 4-pack for just $69. Purchase your tickets now at bandits.com. 4:17, Randy. Buffalo down by 4 to tie it up. Your thoughts?
Well, hey, you know what? There's four. The game's not over yet. The Bandits got a 4-goal run going on here. They got the ball off the face-off. Right? They got to get a good offensive set, keep the ball hot, and try to get something to pull them, but they got to make sure they're covering the swarm transition. Huge opportunity right here.
Well, the remaining fans here at the KeyBank Center from the 13,915 on hand are enjoying a little bit of a spurt here for their hometown team on a 4-goal run, as Randy had mentioned, and they've got the ball down in the swarm zone. Here's Malcolm with a shot. Shoulder save by Poulin. Rebound. Mark Stainhouse from the near corner. Stainhouse digging in the webbing of his stick. Double teamed, triple teamed on the play. Stainhouse hanging onto the ball. Plenty of time left on the shot clock. Anthony Malcolm is there from left. Malcolm pressuring his way closer to Mike Poulin. Top of the slot is Stainhouse with a shot. Shoulder save Poulin. Buffalo's ball in a fresh 30. As high netting. Stainhouse from the left point. Tipping it back over to Jones. Jones to Benesh. Benesh back to Jones. Here's Anthony Malcolm. Malcolm feed pass out in front. Benesh, he scores!
Oh, Benesh might have got away with one there. He was inside, middle of the house, and he gave his defender a little shot. He went flying. Benesh all alone. That's the hat trick. Gets a quick feed, and he's all alone. He makes no mistake. Gives a couple of high fakes. Goes far side on Poulin. Bandits down by 3, Johnny. 3:29 left.
So 2 hat tricks in 2 games for Ryan Benesh, and Buffalo comes within 3 with 3 minutes and 29 seconds left to play into this 4th quarter. From the draw, swept back out at midfield. Buffalo scrambled for it, and they come up with it, taking a couple of shots. Benesh down on the turf, loses control of the ball, and Georgia comes up with it. They've got the attack now, just approaching the restraining line of Buffalo. John Rannigan is there. Back out to midfield is Ed Cuomo looking to make the change. Jerome Thompson. Feed pass to the left wing side. As the forwards from Georgia get into position down in the Bandit zone. Deking is Lyle Thompson. Back over to Shane Jackson. Player hit from behind. A technical call on that one. Jackson getting the ball back out to midfield and a fresh 30 to boot. 2:45 remaining, 16-13 Georgia. In over the line is Sean Hall from the right wing side. Top of the slot. Far side pass picked up by Miles Thompson. Thompson is there, feeding it out in front. DeRusio with the save. The rebound from the far side is Brad Self. Checking. And Georgia comes back up with it. Mitch DeSnew trying to get it away. Holding. Georgia at bay at the line. Thompson just reverses his position. Comes back out to midfield. Over to Shane Jackson from the right wing side. Trying to slow this Buffalo 4-goal run down. An errant pass. It'll be an over and back charge. So Buffalo's got the ball with 2 minutes and 5 seconds remaining. And Dave DeRusio runs to the bench. Attacker is out.
Oh, and the Bandit fans want a little bit of a call there. Delay of the game. The referee's making no call.
Mark Stainhouse with the ball. Pulled back outside the restraining line, then play resumes from the corner far side. Top of the slot is Stainhouse. Stainhouse back over to Benesh, into traffic to Malcolm. That's busted up by a trio of Swarm. And the loose ball picked up by the Swarm, and an empty net possibility. In over the line. Shooting, they score. And that's off the stick of Ethan O'Connor.
Buffalo had the 6-on-5. They did a double slide pick, rotated up over top, tried to find Malcolm slicing through the middle. Kind of a home run pass. Unfortunately, you missed that pass. Ball's going the other way.
17, Georgia goal. Scores number 37, Ethan O'Connor.
Well, we're just watching a replay of what the on-field official did, taking the ball away, resetting it back down on the turf. I thought it was a free roller while the player could pick it up within the proximity of the play.
Absolutely.
Here comes Buffalo with Alexander Keto Hill shooting. He scores!
Keto Hill just taking it by himself. Gives a little head fake. Oh, toe drags his defender up and around and goes airborne. Top cheese over top of Poulin. And again, the Bandits are back down by 3. 1:31 left in the fourth quarter.
Well, anything under 2 minutes in the fourth quarter of play, the officials will take a look at it and making sure the ball crossed the goal line. So the crew chief tonight, Chris, back at it with the off-field officials to see the move of Alexander Keto Hill, looking to score Buffalo's 14th goal. Under review. Under 2 minutes left to play into regulation, and we'll see it from the scoreboard here at the KeyBank Center on the flying move by Keto Hill, whether or not the ball crossed the goal line by the time he got himself back down on the turf.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a good goal here, Johnny. He goes airborne. I believe that the ball in the net before that left foot. He gets some pretty good hops there.
Well, 66 got some good air on that shot, and Chris Williams, the crew chief, taking a look to make sure, and in the angles that he has been provided by the replay team here at KeyBank Center. Both teams will be in action next week. Buffalo continues its homestand as Vancouver comes to town. New England to Georgia on Saturday night next week, and Chris Williams will give the call and puts his skid lid back on. It's a good goal.
And David Brock has been set free out of the penalty box from his 10-minute misconduct. Bandits down by 3. They still have DeRusio in the nets. Swarm heavy on the defensive end. 4 players on the defensive end and 1 face-off.
Mitch Wild do the draw chores for Buffalo. Getting the ball placed at midfield, ready to go for the draw. And a jump by McIntosh affording Buffalo the ball, and the Fish runs to the bench, and the extra attackers out for the Bandits. Ball carried by Stainhouse. Right wing pass over to Benesh. Feed pass along the end. Picked up by Keto Hill. Hill leaving it back to Jones. In front, ball intercepted, and here come the Swarm back out to midfield. Good foot race now as Jones takes the ball away. Long pass right to the line to Benesh. 1:07 remaining in regulation. Bandits down into the Swarm zone. Stainhouse being at left side of Poulin. Rebound jumps all the way back out at midfield. Ball is picked up by Georgia. Pushed right to the goal line. It scoots to the left side. And over and back charge against Buffalo. Will give Georgia the ball down in the Bandit zone. DeRusio is right back between the pipes for the Bandits. Under a minute to play in regulation. 17-14. Georgia in over the line. Swarming. Jerome Thompson is there to the near side, trying to elude the checking of Brunel. Thompson taking a shot. That goes wide. Rebound picked up by Buffalo. Steve Priolo firing the out to Mark Stainhouse, who comes across the Georgia line with 25 seconds remaining. Stainhouse tried to feed a running Mitch Jones, but the ball is intercepted by Poulin, and the loose ball will go all the way back down into the Buffalo zone, and an empty net goal scored by the Swarm. Kyle Mills getting the empty net goal and sealing the deal, I would say. Randy Mearns, 18-14 Swarm.
Yeah, I would agree. So DeRusio having a few words with Matisse. Matisse probably could have pulled that ball out. 14.8 seconds left just to kill the rest of the clock, but I feel that Matisse was like, well, I got an empty net. Might as well jam that one away.
66 shots by Georgia in this game to Buffalo's 56. Couple of spurts in the game by the Bandits at the opening of the second half of play. Bandits played a spirited game, only to be dampened by 2 Georgia goals. And then the 4-goal run in the second half of this run here by the Bandits. That's going to do it for tonight's game. It's a final 18-14 Swarm over the Bandits. A lead that they never relinquished. Took a 5 lead, comfortable lead at halftime, even more in the third and fourth, and that is the final. And mysteriously, Buffalo goes 0-2 on the season. Saskatchewan in the same boat, a 13-11 final up in Toronto, with the Rock winning it. New England and Colorado tied at 3 in the second quarter, and a 10 o'clock start, 4 minutes away for Vancouver and Calgary. Post game coming up after this, 18-14 final, Georgia. This is Bandits Lacrosse.
This is the Bandits postgame show, a complete review of tonight's game with full statistics, scoring, and highlights.
It's a final tonight from the KeyBank Center in downtown Buffalo. The Georgia Swarm put on a clinic, defeat Buffalo 18-14. Here's a club that came in with a big victory 18-10 last week over the Saskatchewan Rush. And they post a 5-0 lead over Buffalo in the first quarter of play before Buffalo gets its first goal of the game. And then goes all the way to halftime with a 6-2 lead. Following up with more, checked at the halftime at 9-5. And then following up with a 4-5 goal run in the third quarter of play. Randy, again, a tutorial by the offense that we knew that was very creative, but didn't realize how quickly they could move that ball and score at will.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with the firepower that they have there with Lyle Thompson, Miles Thompson, Randy Stotts, Jerome Thompson, and then with Shane Jackson, and then you have those other transition guys, Kyle Matisse joining the fray, Jordan McIntosh, Jordan Hall. I got to tell you, like that, the ball movement by the Georgia Swarm was just I mean, it was quick. There was a lot of flips. They play within a system, but, Eddie Como allows them to be creative, and I got to tell you, they just got a lot of shots and a lot of quality shots to the Buffalo Bandit net. Absolutely.
9-5 at halftime. Buffalo opens up the third quarter of play with spirited play. It plays dividends at 3:27. It's Brad Self. House double teamed on the play, eluding that. Stainhouse back over to Self for the shot. He scores! 3:27 officially the time of the goal. Mark Stainhouse with the assist. 9-6 the score. But Georgia goes on a run. They go on a 5-goal run before Buffalo can get back into it. It's 15-7 at the time, where Buffalo at 12:47 of the third quarter, Ryan Badesh. Now the offense coming back out on the turf. Compliments are there. Feed pass out in front. Badesh scores! Jones getting the assist along with Brad Self, and Banesh continuing on his good goal-scoring streak, despite the fact that the Bandits have now started 0-2 on the season. Buffalo gets another goal at 13:51. Mark Stainhouse. To Stainhouse, who has to gather it from the far corner. Getting a lot of pressure off the defensive mood of Ethan. Stainhouse with a shot. He scores! So Stainhouse unassisted at 13:51, making the score 15-8. Georgia scores another to make it 16. Buffalo right back on the scoreboard. And here's where they started playing well. And they go on a 4-goal run. And it starts at 13:15 of the fourth quarter with Mitch Jones.
Angle passes, finding those backsides. They've just done a tremendous job tonight.
Feed pass out in front. Jones with a shot. He scores! How about that from Steve Briolo? Indeed, a beauty from Steve Briolo. And Bennett also getting assist. Short-handed goal scored by the Buffalo Bandits. He's got Alexander Keto Hill from left, but he's being called back over to the bench, and Buffalo's forwards coming back out. 50 seconds left into the Swarm's penalty. There's a shot and score! Buffalo! Darryl Veltman getting the goal at 8:50 from Ryan Banesh. And we've got ourselves a game at 16-10. Buffalo makes it 16-11. On the comeback trail at 9:11 from Brad Self, unassisted. Second of the night for Veltman. 63-49 shots favoring the Swarm. Here's Brad Self, scores! A beauty of a shot by Self at 9:11 of the fourth quarter. The goal scoring continues for Buffalo at 10:43. Kevin Brunell. 16-11 Georgia. Cradles right to the threshold and crossing the line. Back over to Kevin Brunell. He scores!
Down the field.
Ryan Banesh with the assist. Andrew Watt also with the assist. Goal scoring continues for Buffalo to make it 16-13. Ryan Banesh. Stainhouse from the left point, tipping it back over to Jones. Jones to Banesh. Banesh back to Jones. Here's Anthony Malcolm. Malcolm feed pass out in front. Banesh, he scores! Good play for the Bandits at 11:31 of the fourth quarter of play to bring the club within 3 of tying the Georgia Swarm. 16-13 at the time. Georgia made it 17 at 13-17 with Ethan O'Connor on an empty net goal. Then Buffalo comes back at 13:29 with Alexander Keto Hill. Proximity of the play.
Absolutely.
Here comes Buffalo with Alexander Keto Hill shooting. He scores! 13:29 the time of the Buffalo goal, but another empty netter. This one by Kyle Matisse seals the deal. 18-14 is the final here from the KeyBank Center. The official time of the goal, empty net by Matisse at 14:46. Randy, a game nowhere near what the score reflects, but you got to give the Bandits credit for their 5-goal run in the fourth quarter.
Well, yeah, they continue to battle. They continue to play a little bit more inspired. It just kind of felt like that first quarter half. It was, waiting for somebody else to do it, and Georgia took advantage of it. In that second half, they got on a little bit of a run with the Bandits, got themselves back into the game, got the crowd going, and then, I thought Banesh could have had an opportunity to get some transition. The referee kind of grabs the ball and kind of holds things up. the Swarm, scoring those 2 empty netters. They're late, kind of, nail into the coffin, but you got to be happy that they continue to battle throughout the game, because it just felt like it was just worse than it was. Like, you just kind of felt like they were losing by 15. But that being said, they evened up the loose ball, actually ended up winning the loose ball battle 83-82 over the game. But again, Georgia Swarm outshooting them 67-56. You only can stop so much. DeRosa, I thought, did a pretty decent job, but when you got the sharpshooters that the Georgia Swarm have, I mean, that's just, that allowing that many shots, they're just going to score their goals, Johnny.
On the power play, very respective. Bandits?
Oh, absolutely. 4 for 5. With the Georgia Swarm, again, they were 5 for 7. So both teams were taking advantage, of their odd man opportunities. But again, I got to imagine Coach Cordingley and the coaching staff things are just not clicking. It just, whether it's urgency, whether it's a little bit of athleticism, whether it's game plan, it just seems that they're just playing out of sorts.
Individual scoring statistics, finding Mark Stainhouse with 2 goals and 3 assists. Kevin Bonnell getting a goal tonight. Ryan Manesh with 3 goals and 4 assists. Mitch Jones with 2 goals and 2 assists. Brad Self with 2 goals and an assist. Darryl Vogtman with a couple of goals. Alexander Keto Hill 1-1, and Anthony Malcolm 1-2. Again, Dane Smith down at the first half of the game. A lower body injury, did not return. Anthony Cosmo took a shot on the knee. He was relieved of his duties at 8 minutes and 41 seconds of the game. And as you had mentioned, Randy, Dave DeRusio doing a pretty good job with 37 saves and the amount of shots that were fired on by Georgia. Individually for Georgia, just in the highlights of the Thompson family doing a great job here in Buffalo tonight. Lyle Thompson with 2 goals and 6 assists. Jerome Thompson with 3 goals and 4 assists. And we have Shane Jackson with a couple of goals and 3 assists. Randy Stotts with 3 goals. Well, the list goes on. It's an 18-14 final tonight. Georgia over Buffalo, the 3 stars of the game.
Yeah, the 3 stars. The first star, Lyle Thompson, 2 goals, 6 assists on 7 shots. Second star, Jerome Thompson, 3 goals, 4 assists. And third star, number 9, Mark Stainhouse, 2 goals, 3 assists for 5 points for the Buffalo Bandits.
Well, Buffalo starts the season 0-2, and so does Saskatchewan. They were defeated tonight by Toronto 13-11 in Toronto. Colorado with a 6-3 lead over New England with 3:23 left in the second quarter of play out in Denver. And just underway, Vancouver at Calgary, and the 2 teams battling out there in the West. It is a final tonight, folks, here from Buffalo. Georgia with an 18-14 win over the Bandits. The next start for the Bandits will be a week from tonight here at the KeyBank Center against Vancouver. We will have the game for you live on the radio and on NLLTV.com. Our pregame show on the radio begins at 7 o'clock on ESPN 1520 and WGWE in Salamanca. Joe DiBiase, our producer, Scott Fleetwood, our director. For Randy Mearns, this is John Gertler. Good night from Buffalo.
Geico presents